today we're recording the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet review with the crew, and we've got all these things to talk about. So the first thing on the list is, were the starters good? Who wants to start with that?
I'll start with that one. Uh, my thoughts on the starters were that they were all right.
Apparently, we're thinking the grass one's the most powerful, though, but I think design-wise,
well,
they were pretty nice.
Design-wise, they're all right, but with the grass starter, I was thinking that the final form does resemble a lot like the Sun and Moon's fire Incineroar.
And then they've got
So,
each have their own unique moves, and I think Grasses was the best one.
to be
Guaranteed
fair,
crit.
I like the fire types move. Torch Song. That one was a pretty decent move. Which was the buff of its special attack.
It really did, yeah. And
It's
then there
pretty good
was
special attack.
Water Step was the water one. No, Aqua Step. Design-wise, I think they're pretty decent.
In my opinion, I think the designs were a bit basic compared to some of the previous ones. Like the fire one, I wasn't enamored by the final form. The water one, I found a bit daft to me. The green one just looks like it's a furry. I mean, maybe I'm just a bit.
You can't say anything. You were a Delphox main.
I've just played fire in every single one. That's not really saying much. I will say this: I don't know whether you guys had a different starters, didn't you? You were grass and water, weren't you? Your
I went
starters,
water to mine.
and you were grass.
I ended up with Skeldridge.
You went fire.
Skeldridge. Yeah, the one thing I noticed, I don't know whether you noticed this, was pretty much 95% of all battles I did were easily won by my starter, and there wasn't really much point me going to anyone else.
My entire party was wrecked by ground types. Every single one.
Well, that was your bad design then.
Mine wasn't too bad. I started with a fire type, and I'll be honest, it's like Coco was a pretty decent starter one to start with. So.
I prefer these starters to the previous gens ones.
Yeah, the previous one was Sword and Shield, wasn't it? Yeah. I'll agree. That is actually the only gen that I didn't use the starter Pokemon.
Yeah, I threw it away as soon as it evolved, to be fair.
I generally use the starter Pokemon during any of my playthroughs.
But that game was vastly easy.
I just found the Fire Ghost, I guess, typing just meant that I didn't really have any threats. So Skeldridge just did all the work for me, pretty much.
It was one of the decent types. Not the best typing, but...
I don't think it didn't have any disadvantages. I just think generally starter Pokemons are decent all-rounders, so it's like the more likely to... Because he's training them from the basic forms, so generally if you're over-leveling as well, you're going to be pretty decent, so...
Yeah. I just noticed it more in this one. Normally, in previous games, I had to swap out against certain opponents, but that was extremely rare.
It was really easy to overgrind in this game.
Oh, spectacularly so.
I mean, we'll get to that.
We'll get to that later, yeah. But yeah, for general starters, I think all the main designs are pretty solid. To be fair, the middle form of Fuecoco is a bit weird, but yeah, its final form is good. Yeah. I like its final form.
Yeah, what happened to the egg? He's got an egg on the second form, so I expected something. Oh, the bird.
No, he's got the bird spirit, fire spirit, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's just not always noticeable. That was it.
That turns it into his mic when he uses Torch Song, which is amusing.
It's because he's normally facing away from me. I don't normally see it.
How's it facing away from me? The camera's horrible.
You can just move the camera.
Yeah,
Not when
I'd
Tinkertown's
say.
on screen, you
Oh,
can't.
well,
Didn't always bother.
yeah, we'll get to camera
Yeah,
later
we'll
as
get to
well.
that one. The
That's
next
one of
one's
the topics.
new mons in general.
Yes, there are a couple of new ones
The new
that I
mons
did
that like
like.
weren't new evolutions of previous things were pretty decent, I think.
Yeah,
Right.
new evolutions were pretty decent.
To be fair to me, I felt a lot of these new Pokemon felt like they made a few Mew ones, and then near the end of production, someone said, "Oh, we need a lot more Mew ones than that," and they just rushed out loads of these Mew ones because most of them look very generic. You got the Powy Trio line, which is just very basic and bland looking. You got the little mice, which are again are very basic. So it's like, oh, 2 mice now, it's 3 mice, then it's 4 mice.
Pokemon's
You
always
have the
had that though.
dolphin, which looks like a dolphin. You have the flamingo, which literally is just
The
flamingo.
dolphin's fine.
The
Don't diss
dolphin
the
looks
dolphin.
good.
Ah,
The dolphin
Dolphin's
is based
fine.
on Superman. Leave him alone.
too many
That it is.
designs just felt rushed out the door to me, and just were just pointlessness. The parrot, which is just a parrot,
There's a generic bird in every game.
there's
Yeah.
more than one generic bird than this was a couple.
No, there's only one generic because the generic's generally a normal type of some kind.
Squawkabilly is the most generic bird.
Yeah, Squawkbill's
Yeah.
generic. You've also got it's electric bird, but he looks as like a
Wattrel.
normal bird.
Wattrel was okay.
Wattrel, yeah.
It annoyed me it didn't have a third form because it'd be better. Because its stats weren't great for me.
Yeah, it did look like it should get a third one, but
Oh, there was also Bomber Bird, which was a bit pointless.
oh yeah. Well,
That only exists to be
I've not,
Titan though.
I've not used him myself, but it was not too bad. Surely, I've not used it, but
Like the evolutions of the previous ones were just dumb. Get this specific move and use this specific thing. Gaff was pretty good though. It's just stupid that you had to evolve it that way.
Which one's that one?
Giraffrig's evolution.
yeah. I didn't actually evolve mine. I caught mine, so didn't actually have to do that.
I just went on a spree and just evolved all the things.
The
I think I went the opposite route.
Because
I
all
just
three
went
of
and
us had
caught
actually finished
everything
our
that I needed
decks.
to.
Dunsparce
But-
with just an extra little segment on
To
it.
be fair, Dunsparce is really powerful.
Dunsparce is great.
What did you think of Annihilate?
Annihilate was good as well.
Its typing was really good too.
Yeah, I
One-
didn't have any qualms with it, and his design looks pretty interesting.
One evolution that I actually appreciated was King Gambit.
Yeah, from Bisharp. That was
He
a good
looks-
one.
He
I
looks
actually
pretty cool.
used that one. That was one of the ones I used, and I did love its design.
Oh,
It's
it's
just the fact
got
that he
one of the
sits
best
down
typing in the game.
on its helmet.
Yeah.
Oh, one thing I found very confusing, we had new versions of existing Pokemon, but this time they had different names. I don't understand why. So
So
the new
that was
version of Diglett instead of just Wiglet and Wug Trio.
yeah. Basically, that was based on the fact that it's meant to be a derivative evolution, not just like it's the same thing but a different typing.
It's not direct evolution because it's a base version as well. The quad one is the Wug evolution is a derivative evolution, but and Toad School, which is just a plant, a grass.
So it's meant to be like because obviously the game's based on prehistoric and thingy, so it's about the evolutionary lines of things. So obviously, at some point in history, Diglett and Wiglet have branched off into two separate Pokemon. So it's not just that Diglett's a water type now. It's like, oh, there's a Pokemon that share a similar ancestor and is a water type. This is Wiglet. Yeah.
The only
That's
problem
what
with
they're
that
going
is
with.
all the previous variations were literally how they described the previous variations of the games. Where these are versions of Pokemon which changed many years ago, have changed down the line due to the evolutionary environment, and so basically it's exactly the same. It's just this time they decided to rename them.
Yeah, it's just one of the weird things that Game Freak has done during
Right.
their
I've got my
branching.
list of
It's
all
like,
the new things. So, what do you think of Lechonk?
We start from the top. Oh, the
um,
pig.
it's standard,
It's just it's just
generic
standard.
starting Pokemon in it.
It's generic normal.
Yeah, it's fine. It's one of the starting ones that you can catch, and I didn't mind it. It's
Tarantula and
alright.
Spidops.
Spidops just looks weird to me.
Generic bug.
That
It
it's
looks
a
like an
generic.
old.
That it's one of the things I will say is like agree with Dave with is like some of the designs do look a bit weird. Well, they don't look right to me.
Spidox looks like a PS1 enemy.
Yeah, it kind of does, yeah.
Well, I'm not. Well, to be fair, I think there's a difference between its design and how it looks in game because I do feel like the 2D sprites do look better than the 3D ones, but um, yeah, just the design in general just looks a bit
Yeah.
weird and doesn't look
Next is my favourite bug type, which is Nimble.
nimble and lorks.
I
I'll
just
look
got
it.
annoyed by how I kept bumping into him
Yeah,
and I
it
couldn't
was
see
way too
him.
small. But Low Kicks looks really cool to me.
Low kicks was just the one that was just like always coming at you.
Yeah.
I didn't mind. It looked interesting, but I don't generally use bug types.
Because his bug dark is better than a standard bug.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And his stats are alright.
But
Then after
I
that is
did like
Palmer.
the.
We've discussed that. We've done Tandem
No,
Arts already.
That's generic.
Palmer's great.
How about Fido?
I actually thought that was funny.
Which one?
Fido. Yeah,
And Dragon Ball.
it's all right.
It's fairy type, it's okay.
Someone was
fairy
definitely
typing.
hungry when they designed it. That's for certain.
And the next one annoyed me severely, and that's Smoliv. Because I went to the right at the beginning and didn't have a grass type for half the game.
Well, at least you didn't do what I did and go down, where you just But
Because Arboliva is
yes,
really good.
Small Leaves was all right.
Except for its third form, I think this guy looks very similar to previous grass types we've had.
I liked the second evolution way better than Arboliva.
Why that? Why the second form
Just
better?
like its design better.
Yeah, to be fair, it looks a bit strange because obviously it looks like all the olives are always on the head, and then obviously it just kind of blooms and then
Because from 1 to 2,
vines
it's
out.
like you think, oh, it's going to be sort of that
That's
design, and then
meant to
Arboliva
be.
comes out, and you're like, how did that come out?
But it's like most of the Pokemon designs. It's like quite a few of them. It's like you look at them and it's like, oh, what's that going to evolve into? And then it's like just something totally weird and bizarre. Yeah, it's just like, well, how did that get to that?
Yeah.
Uh,
The next one is Knackle.
I was going to say, yeah, Squawkabill, but one thing I've got to say is I was quite disappointed with this guy because I saw him on top of the house right at the beginning and you could catch him pretty much straight away. So I thought, oh, maybe it's just like because it's really rare. Early on, he's quite rare. So I thought, oh, if I catch him early on, he must evolve into something really good. Nope.
What
And
annoys
his
me is I'm
stats are
looking at the
crap
sheet
throughout
right
the
now.
entire game.
It has 4 different forms. Its stats and abilities are exactly the same between all 4 forms.
Yeah, just color
Yep.
differences, just like the flower ones.
Yeah, but Orico, what is it? Orico, the bird thing, has 4 unique forms. Oricoko, is it?
yeah.
The
Yeah, it has
dancing
the
one.
ailment forms,
Yeah.
which were from Sun
That
and
would have
Moon,
been
weren't it?
cool if this had that too.
Well, yeah, it's just essentially just a basic palette swap is all that one was.
Yeah.
It's just a normal flying type.
So
No,
next we
particularly.
have the stone mushroom from
Next is
Mario.
Knackle.
Yeah, it's
Knackle.
the
Yes,
stone
we've not
mushroom
discussed.
from Mario. I was a bit thrown by that when I first saw it.
Garganacl is amazing.
I like its design, its final forms design. It does seem nice, and I think, as you constantly put it, is the Minecraft Pokemon.
It is so powerful, it's ridiculous.
But yeah, it's ironically it's one that I haven't used, but like I said, I do like its design.
It's
It
got the
does look.
ability Purifying Salt, so it never gets status effects ever.
I
And
need
you
to
can
use.
just slap everything with it. I think it's the only time I've had a rock type the entire game.
Yeah. No idea if I've used a rock type before, but I probably have at some point.
I used to use Ride on the very old games.
Oh yeah, Rhydon was great by then.
But no.
We got
But yeah,
Shark.
it's,
Yeah, then Char Cadets after that.
I didn't see a pill Shark Cadet until I later down the line saw its evolutions.
The problem is you get Char Cadet so early, but you can't get its evolutions early.
you can get its evolutions early. That's the common misconception. You can
You have to
literally
fight
get
level
it straight away,
50 Sinistee to get Stellar Edge.
but I believe there are some Cerities right next to where you can get the thing. I just don't think they're that common,
Common, I found
so it makes
two
it a
the
bit
whole game.
trickier. And then they're closer to the Psychic Gym. I believe it's the Psychic Gym.
Yeah.
There's obviously a bunch over there, but like you said, they're really high level, so
Because
it's
Armourouge is a lot
more
easier to get because
practical.
Bronzor's really easy to find.
But yeah, Bronzor is definitely more easy to find, so people on
The
Scarlet
problem
probably
was
have an
Char
easier
Cadet
time.
itself, its stats were really low. So it just kept getting
Well-
KO'd all the time.
Well, ironically, you talk about the commonness of Charcadet when I had an issue trying to find the thing because it just didn't want to spawn anywhere, even
was
though
so
it's
hyped
found
when I got
over
it.
90% of the map.
I was so hyped. I'm like, come on, I finally found a cool looking fire type. It's like, nope, you need to spend 20 hours in to evolve it. Like, thanks. Mine was only 20 hours because I was messing about, though.
Yeah, fair enough.
I could have got it a lot earlier.
So we've
Yeah, I
got
think by the time I got Charcadet, I was pretty much at the point where I could just evolve it anywhere immediately. So
Because Fire Ghost and Fire Psychic are really good.
I did like the Fire Psychic.
And after
Again,
that
another
is...
Fire Ghost type, isn't
Yeah.
it? So
After that one is Tadbulb and Bellybolt.
I didn't bother with these at all.
It should not have been a stone evolution.
yeah, it's. I won't say it's a bad Pokemon, but
Its problem is its ability. That it gets stronger when it gets hit, which
yeah,
generally is not good.
On this game where things get one hit KO'd very easily.
Yeah,
but yeah,
unfortunately.
it
Then
wasn't too bad.
Wattrel and Killer Wattrel, they're fine.
Just
Um,
basic flyers to me.
Yeah, generic electric flying types, probably along the same lines as Fletchland's line. They were probably aiming for with that.
Yeah.
Again, like you said, probably could have done with the middle evolution or something, or a third evolution.
I thought it did, but it's just the equivalent of Swallow. Swallow? Halo's evolution. The two-stage.
Well, I'd say it's probably more along the lines of Seagull and
Oh, Signal Wingle, yeah.
yeah. So it's like meant to be like because you do generally find them around the coast, so it's meant to be kind of a sea type Pokemon.
And after this one is the one I know you used, which is Maschiff and Mabostiff.
But yeah, I used those for a bit right near the start.
He's pure dark. I mean, he's okay.
So I did like using it. It wasn't too bad. Obviously I swapped them out because I found some other Pokemon that I was like, oh, I kind of want to use those now.
Yeah, I found them a bit boring, those two. But,
They are kind
well,
of just, yeah.
It's the generic.
I didn't find one until 30 hours in.
Well, it was literally one of the few that I found because I did the jump thing right in the south area to get into west side.
Yeah, I think the first one I got was
And it was
Move
like
Faster.
that, right one right there. So
Then it's Shroodle and Graffarii.
I just found weird.
Graffarais looks a bit weird, but I know what animal it's meant to be based off of,
It's
which is
poison
understandable.
normal.
But it seems all right.
It's not too bad.
I didn't realize it was a poison normal. I thought it would be like a bug type or something, but I
It's
suppose it
poison
eats
normal.
bugs, so it's not too bad.
And the one I wanted to use is next is Bramblin, which is Grass Ghost.
See, I actually liked the first stage of the design. I was just disappointed that the evolution didn't look more elaborate or more cool. It
Yeah,
just
like when you're
looked a
trying to
little.
find it in the wild, it looks exactly the same as Bramblin, so you can't tell.
I
Well,
also think the Brambling looks slightly better than Bramblegast.
well, I didn't mind them. I don't think there's much of a difference between them, obviously, and you can't really change it's because of obviously it's meant of what it's meant to be based off of. There's not really much you can do with it.
However, its
Give it
evolution
eyes,
method
no.
is
If
okay.
anything, I'm surprised it even got an evolution.
Yeah, but its evolution method's alright. I don't mind
Yeah.
rolling that around because that's what it's supposed to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm assuming that's the main reason why they give it an evolution in first place, because then they had more Pokemon that you
Yeah,
had
same
to
with Relor,
kind
that's
of
evolves
walk
the
around
same
in the
way.
Let's Go.
Yeah, I think that the Bramblegast for me, it should have been like some really like they should have emphasized the eyes, made them look really creepy. While the actual evolution Bramblegast is they made them look really goofy. Basically, to me, it feels a bit like the same designer who did the evolution for this was the same guy who added the Proto Pass to Nose Pass and went, I'm gonna make it look really
Probably.
stupid. Give it a big giant mustache and
That's because of electromagnetism,
goofy
though, so.
eyes. That's what
Well,
it looks.
there isn't really that much of a difference between the two.
He's got a mouth. They gave it a mouth and they gave it eyelashes, and um, that's kind of what I did.
They kind of give it, yeah, they kind of accentuated the eyes a bit more by giving like branches in the shape, so then it looked like it had like the eyelashes, like you said. And yeah, I suppose they've added some bits, but overall, it's not too bad.
And the next one we've done is Toad School. We've done that one. Ground Grass, it wrecked everything I had.
Yeah, I think especially the Toad Scroll one looked really stupid.
And then it's...
Especially
I
in
like Toad
animations,
Scroll.
it was just how it get jungler in its mouthpiece just looked
Was
really
anyone
bad.
else annoyed that Clorf doesn't evolve?
Yes, yes and no.
None of the
I thought,
Titans evolve.
yeah, I thought. Well, there's another one I'm assuming we're going to get to later on, which looks like it should have an evolution more than this one. This one I can kind of understand why it doesn't have one. It's just generic kind of rock Pokemon. Fair enough.
I'm sorry, God.
It looks all right. It kind of reminds me of Krabby more than anything.
That's the problem I was gonna say. I wish they had it a bit more distinctly different to Krabby. You
Well,
know, made
speaking of
it.
something definitely different, the next one, Capsicid and Scovillian, are definitely different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was a
Yes.
bit. I was a bit confused with the evolution, really, from how the base form went to the evolution. It's quite
Well, it's
So,
dramatic.
based on peppers.
well, yeah, it's based on hot peppers. So
I know it's based
it's
off, but the first one looks like a bird, and the second one is the peppers. It looks completely different from each other. Unlike other Pokemon, you can see how it goes from one to the
It's
other.
based on a Kappa,
This
isn't it?
one is kind of a stretch.
yeah, it's obviously it's meant to be a plant type, and it's looks as you said, it does look a bit like a
Grass
baby
Fire's pretty
chick.
good too.
But so it's a bit of a weird one. But then we've had others in the past which have been a bit of a stretch as well, haven't we? Yeah.
Got so many.
Even in the original Pokemon, because everyone was saying about Dragonair and Dragonite, weren't they? So how vastly different their evolutions were.
I can still see it to some degree. It's not as I would say
Not
it's a bit
really.
worse than that, but
Yeah. So, well, at least this one keeps the same color scheme.
Yeah. Then
Um,
it's Relor and Rabska. I was
I
fine with them.
wouldn't mind. I like the looks of this one. This one's an interesting one to
I
me.
liked it how it went to Psychic, but Psychic is really done dirty in this gen.
Is it?
Yeah, not everything is resistant to Psychic.
Yeah, fair enough.
There's only like 2 Psychics. That and the next one.
Yeah.
I don't like the evolution form of this. I'd have to say.
Rabska does look
Yeah, I
pretty
like
cool.
the fact, but I didn't realize the fact that they've just literally took the scarab and just relocated part of the wording for scarab.
Yeah.
So,
Jumble up the word.
so what shall we go? Well, no, they didn't even jumble it up. They literally just took the first 3 letters and put them at the bottom, didn't they? Yeah.
That's like so jumble. Yeah.
So, Slight
Next
Ekins and
is
Arbok.
oh yeah. Next is Flittle and Espathra. I
Well,
was not expecting
Flittle
Flittle
doesn't-
to turn to that.
Flittle doesn't evolve into that, does it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Does it?
Yes, it does.
I didn't think it did,
No.
but it does.
I just always
But-
call them separately, so I just assumed they weren't related.
So
definitely
yeah,
evolve.
so if you're on about Pokemon that don't look like they should evolve into something, there you go. That's one that doesn't.
I thought it was like
But-
Soliosis, a 3-stage one, but no.
Yeah, it does look like it should have had a middle evolution as well. A bit like Wattrel looks like it should have had one. But
But this isn't a game where you can get psychics like Hatterene and Gothitelle. Why would you play it? Why would you use it?
yeah. Well, I didn't use this one to be fair.
But the one after this is the Goat Nat. Tinkertuff.
Yeah. Tinkerton was
And
the one
Tinkerton.
that I play when I've ended game with.
It's
I think
the
that
best
was just my
typing in the
lead
game.
Pokemon right at the end. So
The only thing that Tinkerton doesn't have is decent attack stat.
yeah, I think you need to do some proper
It
training
stacks
with it to
75.
get.
I'm looking at Wug Trio and it's stronger than it.
Yeah, you do need to do some proper training with it in
Because
order to
Fairy
get
Steel is the best
attack
typing in
up.
the game.
But yeah, I'll agree with that one as well. There's not
Then
much
it's
wrong with that.
Wiglet. We've discussed Wiglet, we don't care.
It's a water Diglett, nothing more to say on that one.
The Bombardier's the same, it's just a
Which is a
bird.
bit boring. Yeah.
Denizen is fine, because it has its Superman form.
Yeah, obviously I agree with the fact that obviously if it just had the heart which was equipped to its thing, then it's like, yeah, that's kind of a bit of a lazy.
But when you understand
but
what it's based on, it
obvious-
makes sense.
But then obviously it does have an alternate form that it goes into when you swap it out. So,
And the way to evolve it was awkward as all hell.
Yes, that was really dumb.
well, yeah, I'll agree with that one. The fact that you have to be in someone else's game or whatever
And to,
and
use
level
its,
it up.
and to use its ability that gains a hero form is just... It's awkward and it's not really viable.
Well, you can
Really
use it if
viable.
you use like moves that swap Pokemon
Its
out.
unique move does that.
Yeah, so its unique move swaps it out, and then obviously you can just throw it back in or something.
Yeah, because it's based on
If playing
Superman, so of course it does
competitive,
that.
it's not particularly good.
But
From what I've seen, it's not very good for competitive.
Hero Form Palafin is amazing.
Well, not everyone plays competitive, so it's just basically if you like the looks of it, it's like how you want to play the game, isn't it? So it's like as a general Pokemon, it's decent design and interesting, if anything.
It's really good in competitive because they keep swapping out all the time.
Hmm.
Next is one I did not actually care for, and that was Varoom and Reveroom.
Yeah, I'll agree. It's steel poison, so
Steel Poison's fine, it's just its
typing-wise,
stats
it's
are
not
really
too
bad.
bad. But yeah, it's just my main thing about this one is that for some strange reason it can just fly.
Just
Is
does.
that?
So yeah, if you ever see it, it's just floating in the air. But it's got wheels.
It's
So-
also the thing that gets me annoyed is because we see it in every boss fight in the Team Star, but it's attached to a car. And it made me feel like I should have a third form where I have that version of it.
Well,
You can.
Looks
to be
so
fair,
much better than this.
You can do that.
Well, the car is actually a amalgamation of multiple. So it's literally, if you look at like the wheel parts as well, they are like Vavrooms or
From what I remember, you
Reverooms.
can change Varoom's abilities to the ones that the Team Star use.
Make it turn into a big giant car.
It gains
Now,
the ability.
design wise, you can't change it, but
That's
the
what I
ability
mean. I was
wise,
like, It made me
But-
want to have that design, and
Well,
then we
yeah,
don't
like I
get that
said,
design. So it feels a bit.
Yeah, like I said, that design was actually just like an amalgamation of more than one of them. So there were multiple Revervrooms and Varooms attached to that thing. It's just that the prominent one was for the engine was a Revervroom.
Yeah. So
The next
it
two don't
disappointed.
massively matter either, and that's Cyclizar and Orthworm.
Well,
Orthworm was the other one that I was saying that looks like it should have had another evolution. It looked too plain and boring. Like,
Hawthorne looks like he's come out of an early Mega Man game.
Yeah, but this is
When
one
the
of the
random
dragon
image
types for
comes
this
in.
game. It's supposed to be good, but it's just there.
yeah, Cyclizar as well is just a bit boring.
He's just there for the plot.
Yeah, he's kind of just there to be there for the sake of the plot, really. But
I thought Orthworm would have evolved, to be fair.
well, yeah, and I'll agree that it does look a bit silly sometimes because obviously when it brings out its little blue arms, it's just like what?
Sorry, what, the worm has blue arms?
It does, yeah. Those blue dots on its
How have
side
I
are
never
arms.
seen this?
I don't know how because it does it when you're fighting it.
Yeah, the blue orbs on
Admittedly,
its
I
side are
kind of
actually arms.
one-shot the Titan, so I don't know.
How strong were you when you decided to go for them?
2 strong.
Not that high. It was just steel, and I'm using fire.
So, but yeah,
Then
The
it's...
well, I think it does it when it powers up anyway. But next
and
one.
after that is Glimmer and Glimora, which weren't as
kind
used
of-
as much as I thought they would be.
They were out of sight, out of mind for me. These guys.
Yeah, you didn't see them as often as you'd think. And to be fair, the typing wise, I'm not too
I
against
really
the
like the
rocks,
design, though.
poison.
Glimora's especially.
But and I do like, I do like the looks of Glimora quite a bit. It looks quite nice. I thought it might have been actually like a plant type instead.
You'd have thought so, yeah.
Yeah.
Then we've got
Graveyard
Graveyard and
Houndstone.
Houndstone. I actually like the design of these, but at the same time, I started getting fed up with them because I kept getting bothered by them while I'm trying to roam the island. And I
It's
got
also
sick of
pure
them.
ghost, which is
The thing
great.
is that they both look like they could have been an alternate typing as well as Ghost.
I thought they'd
Like
been fire, to
obviously,
be fair.
yeah, Graveyard looks like it could have been like a Ghost Fire along with Cerule Edge and
Sort of like
Skelurge.
Litwick.
Yeah, and then obviously you've had Houndstone, which looks like it could be like a Ghost Rock or Ghost Ground. Yeah, just something else.
Well, its ability Sand Rush makes no sense, but
Especially if we don't come across them in the desert at all.
well, it gets hurt from desert.
I know.
Yeah, but it's like I said, it could have done with like having a rock typing maybe. Especially considering how his name sounds. It's like Houndstone. Yeah, it's got stone in the name, so make it rock type or something.
Then we've
Give it-
got Flamingo, which
I
is
really liked Flamingo.
now I know he's supposed to be really good, and mechanics and everything, but in design is literally
It just
very
looks like
lazy because it's literally just a flamingo.
Yeah, but it could have evolved into
It's not a
something
Pokemon,
cool.
it's a real animal. This is.
Yeah, but it could
Yeah.
have evolved into something cool.
it does look like it should have had an evolution. Or it could have done with an evolution, but maybe not right now, but maybe later on. But it does look exactly like a flamingo. That's the first thing I thought when I started the
Yeah, but
game.
you'd have thought like it'd
that
get
a
like some
flamingo.
spiky boots or something in an evolution, wouldn't you?
But well, with its flying fighting type, which is altogether a bit weird, you'd think that it'd do some. I don't know how it actually is fighting type with its design, especially being basically a flamingo.
But it gets the
It
ability
should have, like-
Scrappy, which is amazing. Just lets it hit
should
ghosts types.
It should have a headband and some kind of other gear to
Yeah,
make it
in
look
an
like
evolution,
it's a
that
fighting
would be
type.
really cool.
But yeah, well, the options there for Game Freak later on.
And the
So
next
they
one
can-
is Satoddle and Satitan. It's just ice.
a nice type. To be fair, I like the designs of Zeion. It looks pretty
I think
interesting.
they hyped these up
And
because it was in the trailer for the
Tuttle
game.
wasn't.
Like the
Tuttle wasn't too bad.
yeah, the evolution didn't felt a bit boring to me. I like the original design of the first one, but the evolution felt like they could have done a bit more with it.
And then
But
after that, we get into the just standard non-evolution stuff.
or Veluza, which
Veluza really needed to evolve. I mean, it was good
Veluza
anyway.
was the most irritating Pokemon in the game. I think everyone can agree with this, as he would just not leave you alone.
he wasn't the most line to me, but he's on there on that top
No,
list.
Nimble and
But
Palmot were for me because they were too small.
yeah, it
Well,
was the grasshoppers.
well, even the small Pokemon, like Surity and all that kind of stuff, they weren't that irritating. The reason this was irritating is because if you were swimming, he would literally just aim for you. Just
Yeah.
bumping into someone on accident, fair enough, but this was hunting you down and irritating you every turn.
And the
Then-
design of this guy, he looks like a generic enemy from so many other platformer video games.
You wouldn't have
Sonic
thought
or
it was
whatever.
psychic type either.
No, I didn't. I didn't realize it was psychic type at
Probably
first.
because I
It's
never
very
used it.
interesting typing. But
And then I'll
no,
put these next two in a pair, and that's Tatsugiri and Dendozo.
yes.
Dendozo looks like he's from Legend of Zelda.
I thought
Wind
they evolved
Waker.
into each other.
The big whale from
No,
Legend of
they
Zelda, Wind
look like they
Waker.
should do, but
I really thought
But
they
no.
evolved into each other. They just don't.
well, Tatsugiri is an interesting one because that's got obviously the dragon water type, and obviously that was the main thing for their Titan things, like the dragon Titan, which is very strange.
I think the Tatsugiri is supposed to be based off that type of parasite fish, which which grabs onto big fishes' tons, eats their ton, and takes its place as its ton.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's what this guy's supposed to be, especially from its Titan battle.
Well, if he is, it's very strange considering how big that tongue is from the looks of Dondozo to Tatsugiri.
Yeah, well,
And then it's
Maybe part of its tongue.
it's Annihilate. It's fine. I like Annihilate.
I don't like how what you had to do to evolve into it, but apparently the idea is that you've worked Primate to death, it dies, and that's how it becomes this.
Yeah, it becomes angry even in death. Yeah.
Yeah, it's essentially a vengeful spirit.
Yeah, so you work
Yeah.
Primate to death to evolve it.
Yeah,
But
they only used Rage Fist 15 times.
well, that's 20
Like,
times.
20.
20 times, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's like, it's like you got to use your 20 times to do it, and it's pretty simple considering it's like a 10 PP move, is it not? So
Yeah.
evolution wise, it's not too bad, and the design looks pretty decent. I quite like the design.
Yeah.
Fighting
Overall,
Ghost is
it
good.
looks like it is.
Yeah.
And it's like the fact that it gains a ghost typing, it's just like, well, I like ghost typing anyway, so.
It just feels like maybe instead of have because of how it's supposed to become this guy, it feels like instead of doing the Rage Fist so many times, it feels like you should have an evolution item which is just a shotgun. You shoot it and it comes a
It
vengeful
could have
spirit.
just been it has to faint 15 times. But no.
Yeah, could do that.
Um,
There's multiple ways that they could have done it. My theory is that he just gets so enraged that he just pops a vessel and then.
I could see it.
An aneurysm.
Yeah, there you go. But no, they could have done other things with it. So the fact that they went that route is quite interesting to me
Then we've got
because they could have just
Pooper
given it
and
pure fighting to.
then we've got Pooper and Clodshire.
Clodsire is really good. It has water absorb on a ground type. It's really powerful. It just looks kind of derpy.
It just yeah, I was gonna say it looks like a floater in the ocean. That's how it is, really. Anything else there?
No, I don't really have much to say about that. That guy's is fine.
Yeah.
But obviously Pod Size first form, obviously that's based on the previous forms that they were doing for Pokemon in it. So that's I forgot what
The
this
regional
region's called
variant,
again. Yeah, it's a regional variant version of this Pokemon compared to things like, your
The renamed
Wiglet, which
ones.
is your renamed ones. Your derivative versions.
Then we've done Furigaf already, we've done the Dunsparce already, we've done King
Yeah.
Gambit.
Say this about Graph, but it's like I think it's adorable. Like it turns its tail into a hoodie.
It's also really good.
Is it that it turns its head into its tail
Yeah,
into a
its
hoodie,
tail
or the
now
fact that
is,
its tail is trying to eat it?
It looks quite happy. So if it's trying to be eaten by, I wouldn't thought it'd be look that happy. Looks like it's got a bit cold and it's decided to wear part of itself as a sweater.
Next evolution, it's just don't have its original head anymore.
God. And it swaps. The tail becomes the head, and the original head becomes the tail.
Hmm.
Right, do we want to discuss all the regional variant Igmons, like
Quickly.
Great Tusk and stuff?
Quickly, I'd like.
Yeah, we can do.
Right, so Great Tusk looks cooler than Iron Treads.
Compare them. So there's like Great Tusk. I think looks far better than Iron Treads.
Well,
It's got better stats and it looks cooler too.
I do admit I do like the looks of Great Tusk, but I don't think Iron Treads is as that bad. But
It's got a flat face.
it's not a flat face. It's got its entire body is just a round ball.
If you actually look at a zoomed up picture, the actual face is flat.
Yeah,
On it, it's like a flat disc.
Yeah, that's because the the face is incorporated into the body, and it's just like a giant ball of
Yeah, I just don't
a
like it.
body that it has now.
I
And
really
then
don't like
obviously its legs kind of go into that.
It's like 10
Yeah.
left.
So it's an interesting
Alright,
take of
so
what like the
you two
future
will know
form
more
would look
about these than I do, but Screamtail, Brute Bonnet, Fluttermane, Slitherwing, and Sandy Shocks I didn't get in my game. So I have no opinion on them.
So Scream Tail looks like a tribal version
Very
of a
psychic.
Jigglypuff. Brute Bonnet just is
Well,
Brute
Bonnet,
evolution with a bit of fungus, a bit more moss on it. It's a bit
it's a bit more moss, and the fact that it still has the image of a Pokeball on it is a bit weird as well. They could probably
that's true.
change that slightly.
Yeah, it should have changed it.
Just to represent the fact that obviously it's from a different era, so obviously they didn't have Pokeball, so it didn't develop that thing that it needed a Pokeball on top of its head.
Fluttermane isn't that much different to
Ghost
me.
Fairy, it's cool, it's fine.
Slitherwing actually does look quite a bit
Why is
different.
it
And I do
fighting
like
type? It just
that.
is.
Well, let's go back to Fluttermane for a second, because Fluttermane is actually Ghost Fairy.
It is, yeah.
So the fact that it's dropped a typing in its current present day state, quite interesting to me.
So does Jigglypuff, because Jigglypuff is just fairy now, but it's fairy psychic in the past.
Yeah.
Like, why does Slitherwing lose fighting and gain fire? It just does.
But
at least it swaps it, so that makes more sense to me. But
well, let me get on to the future. Well, to be fair,
Sandy
there's
Shocks,
also Sandy Shock as well.
which I think looks badass. I love Sandy Shocks. It makes
I
zero
don't mind the
sense.
looks of Sandy Shock.
It makes 0 sense, but I think it looks hilarious.
Well, yeah, because if you think about it, that means people would have had to base the image of a magnet on Sandy Shock, because obviously it still has the U-shaped magnets attached to it.
And clearly, in primal times in Pokemon, the band Kiss existed, because that's clearly what the
Well, all the primal ones, again, ability is based on how sunny it is.
Yeah.
So it must have been
Also,
really
it's
sunny
shiny
back
Pokemon.
then.
The photosynthesis.
And the future ones have electric terrain.
Also,
all the future ones have quick drive, don't they?
Yeah.
yeah, I noticed that all the all of them don't have genders either. The future and past versions. I guess that's just
So
so that people can breed them. I guess.
yeah, so basically the future and past versions are unknown egg groups. So
It's like
it's like
they may
so
have
then
them.
you
It's just the Pokédex doesn't know because you don't catch many of them.
yeah,
Maybe.
and obviously they might not be compatible with the current generation of Pokemon.
Yeah.
I
You've
mean, you've
got
got so many that you can just use themselves, but that's besides the point.
yeah. I mean, you've got Iron Bundle, which I actually quite like.
Ice
Iron Bundle
water.
is an interesting one, which is yeah. The fact that his little pouch just becomes like a water orb thing at the back of it is interesting. But
Part of me thought that these aren't
Iron
actually Pokemon; they're just robots made to look like them.
well, I'm a
or in the future, humans have been massive douches and have decided just to uh, roboticize them.
well, I'm assuming Pokemon are going to end up a bit more like the Steel type Pokemon that you see, like obviously your Magnemite, Magneton, Magnezone. They just kind of evolved metallic rather than to go with the kind of futuristic sci-fi theme
Yeah,
that it looks like the future's going to have. So it's like cyber Pokemon instead.
I just wish that not all of them were robotic. You know, some of the future ones were a bit different. Weren't just all robots. But yeah,
But you never
Iron
know.
Hand.
There might not be. There might be some that aren't. It's just so
Yeah,
happens that all the ones that they managed to pick up were.
yeah. We'll see. Iron Hands.
Is
It
a
just looks
god.
generic, roboticized version.
Right, what is because that one's based on Hariyama.
Yeah.
So and what's typing is Hariyama because
Fighting pure.
it's it's just pure fighting. Yeah. So obviously it's gained the electric typing on this one. So I quite like the electric typing. Fire
Mm.
electric, not too bad. But
Iron Jugulis
That should not be
is
flying. It weirded me out.
well, it's interesting because that was a dragon type. So obviously it's dropped the dragon typing. So and as is the one that Iron Thorns as well.
Yeah.
So I mean
yeah.
that's a bit weird. So that just means that is there no dragon typing anymore in the future or something?
I think the next one is
Maybe.
also my favorite design of the new ones. The
Iron
new
Moth.
Iron Moth. I love it.
I think
I
that's
do
good.
like the looks of Iron Moth. That's dropped its bug typing as well and went for fire poison.
Yeah, I just like Iron Moth design. I also like Iron
Mhm.
Fawns. I think Iron Fawns looks quite cool.
Rock Electric is
Yeah,
pretty decent.
yeah. Rock Electric, like I said, obviously the base design he was meant to be based off of was dragon type, wasn't it? So it's weird that the two dragon types have now lost this typing uh, in place for other typings.
Yeah.
Yeah. To be fair, I would like to see more prehistoric Pokemon. I'm not as bothered about seeing more future
I
ones,
think
but I
they
definitely want to see
will
more
in the
prehistoric.
DLC.
Yeah, we will in DLC, but I mean, you know, what I'm saying.
Right.
So after these future past, we've got the
Pseudo
new
Legendary.
dinosaur of this set, which is the Frigabax,
Digibax,
Artbax, and
Activax, and Bax
Toxica.
Caliber.
Well, the thing that interests me about this is their Pokedex entries after all the future Pokemon, when these guys are roaming around freely as it is. So less of the fossil Pokemon, I would say, because like I said, they're just roaming around. So it's not like they are fossil Pokemon
Yeah.
or
I didn't
prehistoric
really
Pokemon,
bother
whatever.
with this guy, did you?
I had him in as the
Um,
sixth one because I didn't have what else.
I did use this one for a bit, but I don't think I kept it around too long.
Its defense is really low.
Yeah, I think everyone was expecting a bit more of this one, but then its signature move, which I
Glaive
think it's like
Rush.
Glaive Rush. Yeah, yeah. I don't think it was as good as people was expecting it to be.
Yeah.
Um,
To be fair, Dragon was done quite dirty in this game too. Everything
mm,
is fairy.
yeah, and there's a lot of fairy types going on in this one, and to be fair, if we go through the typings, I think there is probably a few typings that aren't as prominent. in this
There's
one.
3 grass types in this game.
So then we've got Gimme Goal.
I'm fine with Gimme
Goal.
Goal.
I like the fact they've got some kind of mimic design. The only thing I have to question here is why does he suddenly turn it into the cheese string guy?
It's made of the gold in his chest.
Yeah, so
Yeah, but-
basically, that is all the gold that he has collected.
I know, but the design still looks like the cheese string guy. Incredibly so, to the
design-wise,
point where
that
they
is
could
just
try
whatever
file
they've
trade.
decided to do. It's whatever they decided to do for his design. I don't have a clue, understand what it is, but like I do agree that he's like the cheese string guy.
The next
Have you seen
4,
the
though,
difference?
just with the belt and the chest on.
the next 4 I have
on it.
absolutely no opinions on.
One funny thing though about the gold guy is
Goldengo.
have you seen the his number 1,000 in the Pokédex entry, but also have you seen the difference between the normal version and the shiny version? It is so subtle. Like the outline around his eyes goes from orange to silver, and it's so subtle. There's no way you could tell without
Yeah,
without the thing telling you that it's a shiny.
but well, to be fair, more than likely you're going to be catching the shiny version of the obviously Gimme
I don't
Goal.
think you can catch Goldengo, can you? Shiny Goldengo.
You'd have to be through a Gimme Goal. I'm not sure if you can get shiny Gimme Goal yet. I think that might be locked currently.
Because I don't think you can get actually
but-
catch Goldengo.
But
No,
the
yes, you can
can't
catch a shiny. Give a goal.
can you?
Yeah, the little guy inside is white instead of grey.
Yeah, he's a
It's
little thing,
subtle.
but I'm not sure if it's currently locked. Though I think that might have been locked.
Because it's also got a Pokemon Go form as well. So they might be doing stuff with that.
Or the guy by himself
Yeah.
without the chest. Yeah, I was surprised you weren't able to get that. Considering the fact that you see it all around all the way, but you can't actually capture it. It's a bit weird.
There's 7 left. The
So
next 4 I don't care about.
The Wu Chen.
I forgot
so
they
the-
existed.
the Pokemon of Ruin.
Yeah, Wu Chen. Snail, Chen Pao, which I feel like I should be getting my great sword out and battling it. Because it really looks like a Barrioff. Tim Lu looks very weird, and Chin
That's
Yu
one.
just feels very much like it shouldn't be when the guys are ruin. Really,
To be fair, out of all the designs, Chin Yu is probably my most favorite design out of all of them. It just looks cool. It's a firefish. Yeah, who doesn't like a firefish?
he looks cool, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like it should be a legendary beast of destruction.
But
And
no, I
getting them
think
was a
it
pain in the ass.
depends
I don't
on-
care what anyone says.
I think it was based on its Pokemon entry, and it's just like it contains the
It
flames
is
burning
beads
at
that
over
has got a form.
5,400 degrees Fahrenheit. It can swim casually through seas of lava. Yeah.
Roaring Moon and Iron Valiant. I do like these.
Now, again, the placement in the Pokédex entry baffles me. It's like they should have just been placed with the other guys at least. I don't know why they've
These
decided to
2
put
you can
them.
only get after completing main story, but the other ones you can't get normally.
But even still, it shouldn't really matter, should it? I think all the future Pokemon should at least been right at the end. Future and past Pokemon.
So much things I
should have all
hated about
been-
Area Zero. Anyway, we'll get to that.
But yeah, it's like, but the design wise, I like it's the original design of the design of the prehistoric Salamence, and I liked Iron Valiant.
I
It's
really
a
like
nice,
Iron Valiant.
yeah, it's a nice combination between the because obviously it's dropped the psychic.
Ernest come fairy, yeah.
Yeah, it's fairy fighting now, so it's kind of combined with fairy typing.
It also looks female as well.
Yes, I think that was what they were kind of going. I think it's meant to be like a female
Gallad.
Let's go out
Yeah,
about it.
Glade. Yeah, it's like meant to be like a combination of Gardevoir and Glade into like a obviously
Yeah.
the fairy fighting type it is, but I did like the overall design of this one. Obviously,
And then the last two, I never used them actually in combat, so just design-wise, they look alright.
Well, we have a bit of a fight over this one. I prefer the prehistoric, but you kind of dislike the prehistoric version. You prefer the future version.
yeah, I think I like the future version. Obviously, the prehistoric Koraidon looks still. It doesn't look too bad. I like the design of it, like the long like lashes that it has on its head, and the feathers look pretty decent and all that. But
And this
overall, I
one,
just like the looks of Miraidon because I think the coloring on that looks better as well, and I like the flashiness of it's like the wheel up front that it has.
Certain things are weird, but that bugged me about it, but it'd be alright.
oh, so
Certain things.
That's all the new mons.
wow.
It is.
Next
So
is
the overworld, I guess.
Overworld. I hated this Overworld.
It was. It was quite spread out, I think. This
That was kind of
Pokemon,
the problem.
and it was a bit.
I mean, well, I'll clarify. The Overworld's fine. It's just where they put things in the Overworld is not fine.
Yeah, there was a lot of things
Like the bottom
everywhere, and
gym's completely spread out, and then for some reason, I think the water gym, the normal gym, and the ice gym are basically next to each other.
um.
Ghost and Ice are right
So
next to each other.
well,
Yeah,
no.
and
So
water and normal
so
are as well.
yeah. So water and normal are right next to each other. Ghost and ice are right next to each other. Then you've got grass and electric. Is it
Yeah.
that right
And
next to each other?
psychic, you have to go through a high level cave to get to.
Yeah, I think that psychic one is actually meant to be the sixth gym, with Ghost being 7 and Ice being 8th.
No, Ghost is supposed to be 8th.
No, I believe Ice is stronger.
Is it? I swear
Yeah.
there were higher levels in the Ghost one.
I have a thing for this, so carry on while I find it.
But yeah,
But,
my problem with the overworld for me was I found it hard to keep track of where you've been and where you haven't, because there's no way to really tell what. There's nothing.
well, I
I
think
mean,
if you're doing that where you've been and where you haven't, I believe the Pokemon centers are meant to tell you that because any Pokemon center you've been to, you can fly to.
you're talking about just the Poke Center areas. I mean, like the
But that
nooks
obviously
and
means you've been
crannies.
near that. But yeah, obviously nooks and crannies, you're not going to know where
Yeah, there's
you've
two
been.
titans next to each other as well.
But that's another thing though, because there's not really a lot out there hidden anywhere that you
No,
need to
that's
find. So there's not really much
Well, I've
need
sent you
to
that.
know where everywhere you've been.
I've sent you the layout of actual levels, so you can have a gander.
yeah. I already got the map loaded up anyway. But yeah, it's better than Arceus Legends. Arceus Legends, there was a whole area you could explore with absolutely nothing in it. At least in this, there is some points of interest. They are things, but there isn't. There's not enough. I mean, I
It's really
don't
hard to
mind the
explore without doing the
random
story.
loot. You get a lot of stuff, but at the same time, I'd like there to be some unique items which are one-offs in specific areas, and to give you more reason to go. I mean, like if you think about the old
TMs are unique.
handheld Pokemon games, you'd actually go off to every nook and cranny because you would get exclusive things from them.
Yeah,
You'd
TMs are
actually
still unique
explore
though.
everywhere. It didn't feel rewarding to explore everywhere in this. Better than Arceus
Well,
Legend,
yeah, I think
but
that's where
not
the
as.
downfall is. I think that's where the downfall is because obviously in previous Pokemon games, everything was quite linear and how it was done and how everything was how you went about doing things. So obviously it was kind of easy to explore every nook and cranny of everything. Whereas obviously this one, it's just like there you go, there's the world, go
Oh yeah, the
explore.
psychic gym that is 7th.
Yeah, I'll have a look at that. Psychic is 7th, and Ghost is actually 6th. So
I think I beat her 5th.
I beat the Ghost one last. So
Um, yeah, I mean, they could have still like plumped some random things here and there, you know, to make certain areas work. Because there's some patches
but
where there's absolutely nothing there, like a huge group of it map area with absolutely no reason, like the swamp area, no reason to go there. Absolutely, unless you want to catch a Pokemon, but that's
yeah,
it.
that's
Like,
the main thing about the open world. Is basically there's no particular reason to go to any one location unless you're looking for a particular Pokemon in said location.
and then even
Which
then, you
obviously
could be
I
going around in
didn't mind the
circles.
fact it was open world, and obviously that makes it easy when you're doing things like mass outbreaks and other mechanics for like shiny hunting and stuff like that. That helps a lot for doing things like that. But just in playing the main story and doing all of that, there's too much going space and not enough things in it for the space that provided, other than masses of Pokemon.
Mm. At least they made it easier to traverse. You know, very quick. Once you unlock more of the traverse abilities, you can get through areas
It was a
very
pain
quickly.
getting those.
Yeah, the only issue is getting those,
Not that bad though.
and obviously because they're spread out, because obviously the map layout of everything is kind of spread out all over joint, so everything's kind of everywhere. I think that's what they're kind of doing. But obviously, you had like 3 gyms that were right next, or 2 gyms, loads of gyms next to each other, didn't you?
I guess we could
Two,
count
three.
this part of the overworld. What did you think of this grabbing trying to find all the spikes so you could unlock
Hated
the
it.
legendaries?
So yeah, that was. To be fair, I found every all of them barring 2, but I don't think there was. I'm not sure if there was anything that told you where, in particular, where to find those. So I think having something help with that would have been nice.
It made more sense if some of them were near the ruins. I don't think any of them were near ruins, which would make sense. Like, oh, you see ruins on the map, you go to ruins, you find one. It would make more sense. I mean, most of them, like I say, were easy to find. There was 1 or 2 which were just awkward as hell to
You don't even need to find them. The history
locate.
teacher tells you where they are.
Hmm?
You don't even need to find them. The history teacher tells you where they all are.
So
Right.
there you go. So there
No,
was
the
a way to
history
find
teacher
them all.
shows you where the history teacher shows you where the actual
Oh, the dens
circle
are, yeah.
discs are to actually encounter
I thought that's
legendary.
what you meant, the
She doesn't
dens.
show you where the spikes are.
No,
You
no,
have to find them yourself.
but the stakes are always surrounding it, so obviously you kind of know the kind of radius that, but you never know quite the radius that they're in. I mean,
Some of them are quite far away.
yeah, I think one of them I actually found by accident because I was in a Pokemon battle, and obviously because you can change the camera, my camera had switched, so I literally saw one of the stakes peeking out of a little bit of the snow. So
Yeah.
there's just like this little bit that was sticking out of the snow, and if it weren't for that, I probably would have missed that.
Where it does the annoying JRPG thing
Nighttime,
of
they're
not
more
telling you the ones
visible.
you have.
Yeah, that as well.
Yeah,
Hated that.
yeah, yeah.
So they could have done that better. At least give you something more to explore
They weren't
for,
even
but
really
could have done it
incorporated
better.
into the game.
Yeah,
Um,
it
I
just
think
felt random.
one thing I did like in the overworld is the Let's Go feature of it, so that you didn't need to constantly be in Pokemon battles there.
Yeah, I still never really utilized it, but I probably should
Um,
have.
yeah,
The
it's more beneficial to do when you're doing things like shiny hunting and mass outbreaks and stuff. And I think people have utilized it for training Pokemon in high populated areas, uh, so that they don't have to continuously do Pokemon battles.
The problem with,
They
well,
can just
we'll
get a
discuss that one
Pokemon
next
in
instead
this
of
one pit, and
their next topic then. The problem is they couldn't get too far, which was annoying.
mm, yeah,
yeah,
there's that. There should also the overworld should have had some quests in it, some side quests. That would have, you
No.
know, That made it
Arceus
a bit
Legends has
more.
put me off side quests for the history of side quests.
I'm generally never a big
It
fan
only
of
has a
side
handful of
quests
decent
unless they have a reason for it.
Yeah, I mean decent ones. I
Obviously,
don't mean
technically,
like
the side quest in this was the ruin Pokemon. That could technically be seen as the side quest, but obviously in this, I suppose. I wouldn't say that Team Star and any of those are side quests, considering kind of mandatory. But yeah, as far as the overworld is concerned, I think if you're looking at side quests, you've got your raids, you've got obviously the stakes for
yeah.
your
I mean,
for them Pokemon and stuff.
yeah,
So there is some things, but
it could have done a bit better with it.
well,
But
Pokemon has never had side quests.
other than Arceus Legends,
I mean, any main entry Pokemon game has never had side quests because obviously the game's been very linear up until this point where it's not linear anymore.
It's
It's
had
quite
like
open.
random NPCs telling you random stuff like, "Oh, this happens at some point," and then you're like, "Oh, yeah." Like what was it? Gold and Silver, where you can get a Lapras. That's sort of a side quest because you can only get there on Fridays and
was it
stuff.
wasn't Sylvie could get the red Gyarados? That was kind of a side quest.
That's more of a main quest because you have to
No,
get
no,
it.
the Red Gyarados was part of the main quest. I think you had to do that as part of something. I mean, catching it, I think, was a side thing. You don't think you needed to catch it, but
But anyway, well, we should probably move on to the next topic, which was it about the raid battle kind of system?
The raid dens, yeah.
They're all
yeah,
right.
yeah. The red dens I didn't actually mind too much. I think they're a bit janky sometimes. They're not quite
They're not. Yeah, there's quite a
depicting.
lot of problems with
And
them.
I think me and you had an issue, didn't we, Brad, where we were fighting one and then he just magically gained health again for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah.
And literally we were kind of just there.
It locks you between before rank 3 dens as well before endgame.
So I think,
Actually,
yeah, I think once you've beaten, you become champion. I believe you get to rank 4, and then you're there until endgame. I
You
think
can
after
find
endgame you get.
random stuff right at the beginning of the game. Like you could just find a den that just has an end game mon. Well, not in level, but you can just find
Yeah.
end game stuff at the beginning.
Well,
Yeah.
that's one of the things. But to be fair, because obviously it's open world anyway, you can find any of the Pokemon at any time you want. Whether you can catch it or not, and you have to go to a Pokemon Center, yeah, is another issue. But obviously, you can counteract that with saving and reloading. But yeah, the fact that in dens that you can catch things, I won't say easier because it's not always easier, but the fact that it can be anything essentially is pretty good.
at least a lot better than Sword and Shield's raid battles, in my opinion. I found these ones more palatable. I just got fed up very quickly with the Sword and Shield ones, but this one I actually did do quite a few, mainly just to try to help out the Pokedex. But
Yeah, well, I think in this one, I think the raid dens were also good for helping level Pokemon as well. Because obviously they give you the candies and stuff, so they're always good for helping boost up other Pokemon. And you get quite a few of them just doing like a few even low level ones. You get obviously the small and medium ones.
I can't remember, were the Sword and Shield ones guaranteed catches, or was
No.
it like random? Because if it not, I definitely preferred the guaranteed capture after beating them.
They were not guaranteed in Sword and Shield, no.
Yeah, I didn't think they were. Yeah, these are definitely far better than Swords
You
and
could be in a
Shield.
group with 4 of your mates, 3 of them catch it and you don't.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I think that's why they probably made it in this one that it's immediate catch. Because obviously, I think people are probably complaining a bit about that one.
yeah, so definitely been better. They could still do a bit more improvement, but I think they're on the way with it with the dens. I think.
And the
Yeah,
next one was Roam
probably
Mechanic, but we've done that.
pretty
Shinies.
much. Shinies. there's not really much to say about shinies, is there?
Yeah, that was the
I
problem. They
think
didn't tell you. There wasn't an audio cue. There wasn't a visual cue.
I suppose if there's anything, it's the fact that obviously all Pokemon roam now in the overworld, so you can see the Pokemon. You can actually see if they're shiny. The only issue is that because some of them are so slight in difference that you can't actually tell what it is. If it's any different at all, especially when you get to things like the Pikachus and the Jigglypuffs and all that, which are just a slightly different shade of their original color. So
Yeah, like how are you
yeah,
going to run past a
Scyther's another
Scyther
one.
and know it's shiny?
The one thing I'll know though, I played this game for far longer than did Arceus Legends, but I got 4 or 5 shinies in Arceus Legends, but I only got 2 in this. So I think I found it easier to identify shinies in Legends than I did in this
Yeah, because
one.
it has an audio cue when you're even in its vicinity.
Yeah, there's nothing to dictate when you're close to it. I think I was literally like right next to a shiny, and I was like Fermantis pre-evolution, and it was like literally because it's just a slight tweak. I was just like, "Is that shiny?" And I was literally stood right next to it, and I didn't even notice. But it's just because it looked slightly different. Yeah, but I think it could have done with like audio cues or even a little sparkle around them.
Yeah, because didn't the previous game have sparkles around them?
Or you could just hear them from ages away and you know what's in your vicinity then.
But
I mean, was that in Arceus? Did you
Yeah.
say? I had the
yeah,
game mute. I found the audio in Arceus so bad that I muted the game and had a podcast in the
yeah,
background. So I just saw the
yeah.
shiny.
I believe because in Sword and Shield, they appeared as well. But I think they were more noticeable in that one uh, as well compared to this one. I think there were cues in Sword and Shield also, but yeah. But no, I think the other thing about shinies that I want to say is about the fact that it's easier to get them as well uh, with the mass outbreaks.
Way easier, yeah.
Because that does help. Because obviously, if you're spawning like 20 Pokemon or something, you can easily find. Well, I won't say you can easily find one because I was still spending a lot of time looking for one doing these mass outbreaks. But you can find them easier, especially once you finish the game and you got a shiny charm, and if you're using your Herbamisticas to make shiny plus whatever. Yeah, level 3. You can get them easier, but obviously not guaranteed.
Mm. We'll skip the next one. We've done that one already. Gyms and tests. This one's fun.
Gym
The,
tests were crap and pointless.
the tests were they were very arbitrary. They weren't necessary. It was content for content's sake.
Yeah.
I feel like the tests were you kind of because obviously if you do Pokemon gym in any of the other ones, it's like you just go to the gym, you fight some people, and you're done with it. It's like obviously it's a bit of a shifting formula with the tests being in there. It's probably more similar to Sun and Moon, where they had kind of like the little tests right at the start, but these ones in Scarlet and Violet seemed just more tedious than. And Sun and Moon seemed interesting more than the Scarlet and Violets, which were just more tedious. And it's like,
Oh yeah,
why am I
Sun and
doing
Moon.
this?
What did you have? You
was-
had rolling an olive,
You had
finding a recipe.
yeah, you had to find a
Bidding
recipe.
on
You had to give a
some.
guy a wallet and then do an auction.
Yeah. Was the
Yeah,
rat
Find the
thing?
professor, which it zooms into the professor on the electric one.
Yeah,
The ice race.
you had to
That was
find.
alright.
You had to find some flora.
That was dumb.
You had to find 10 of them,
I honestly thought when I got to the rap battle that it was going to be an actual rap battle challenge.
I'd actually enjoy that potentially.
Yeah.
But the person
Well,
who
when they're a little bit,
the
wasn't
rapper
there
who can't
actually like
actually
a
rap.
little bit they had to do? But
why does the league have a test too?
well, that's
That was actually
what's
hard.
interesting.
The league one
I,
was hard.
well, didn't you guys fail it on the first
I did, yeah.
attempt?
I failed the first 2 attempts.
I thought it was a
I
joke.
I actually fluked it on the first try, so I'm lucky on that front. But
I can't remember characters' names. Most of the gym leaders were boring and uninteresting.
Well,
I
one of the main things is
not
you
remember
defeated
their
them
names
40
for the life
hours
of me.
ago.
yeah, I think there was like I can't even remember what I picked now, but I think there was one person who I knew the name of, so I kind of just went with that. I think it was the ice one, to be fair. I've forgotten it now. But yeah,
Russia, I think, is the ice boy.
But yeah, there's quite a few things which were just it was unnecessary, really. All those gym tests, they were, like I said before, they're just there for being there,
Yeah, it's a
extending the
show.
game a bit.
The gyms themselves were alright, it's just they weren't
Yeah, I didn't
leveled in
mind.
the ways you thought they would be.
Yeah, I didn't mind the gyms. The gyms were all
Like, they could have
fine.
easily programmed in, right? The next battle you get, gym leader you get to, is of the next level.
Yeah,
Like,
I
the
think that's
second
what
one
they
will
could have
always be
done
level
with
20.
the gyms should have reassessed based on who you and then based it off of that. So
Yeah, they don't
obviously,
scale well at all.
if you've done go to the normal gym, then the normal gym's going to be easier if you do it right at the start rather than right at the end. Yeah, they change the choices
I thought that
based
the
on that.
level 17 gym leader with my level 40 team and just absolutely wrecked her.
Yeah, this one thing I found weird was I thought if you got to pick because you got to pick left or right for the gyms. I assumed that whatever one you picked, wherever you went, the other side would scale.
Yeah, that's
I
what I
didn't
thought.
realize
See, that's
I'd get halfway around, and suddenly the gym leaders got lower level and easier, and it was just like, why have
see,
you done
that's where
this?
you're wrong. That's where you're wrong. You're not picking left and right for the gyms. You're picking left and right of what you want to do. So if you go obviously to your left, if you're facing south, that is, then obviously you're going Titan Pokemon. And if you go to the other side, you're doing the gyms. That's what that choice is meant to represent.
Yeah, I know, but they should have probably done the thing where every time you beat a gym, the next gym scales up.
Yeah,
That would have
that's what
been
we
a
said
better
before. It's like
system.
that's what they should have done, but that isn't what they've done.
I know, that's
um,
what they should
which is
have done.
unfortunate. Like I said, it is unfortunate.
It did sort of lessen the experience of gyms for me.
Yeah, because like
Yeah.
one the sixth gym for me was fighting some level 15s. That's a bit backwards.
Well, yeah, because I went obviously. So eventually, when I was doing the gyms, the first gyms that I did do was obviously the grass gym and the electric gym, I believe. And obviously, then when I went over and I did fight the bug gym, I believe it was bug. Yeah, they were just my Pokemon was just too over leveled by that point.
Yeah, I thought her
When I was
fourth and just
fighting them,
absolutely wrecked her.
but I mean, obviously I had a fire Pokemon, so yeah, it wouldn't have been too bad anyway. But it was just worse.
Well, the
Shall
next one
we?
after that is a quick topic, and that's why do the cities feel really empty?
That's because they are.
Because there's absolutely
Yeah.
nothing in them.
It didn't
Yeah.
help that like some of the big cities had the same shop repeated 5 times. The big main city in the center has like 3 shops and and they're like duplicated multiple times. It's like why? At least give them different stock. Just pointless. And then the fact there's no actually, unlike previous Pokemon games, that you could go into people's houses, talk to people, maybe find a random
They
item
didn't even have
or
houses, they were just shops.
lore or something. All you couldn't go in any houses; they're all locked. It was
Yeah,
stupid.
To be fair, Dave, that was technically a stupid mechanic. Being able to enter people as like a common RPG trope of being able to enter other people's houses because, well, why not?
Yes, I
Yeah,
know, but it's a Pokemon staple. But there was like you could still have like
not even
clubhouses, you could have stuff like that, which would
staple,
make
like you can do it in
sense.
like most RPG games. I think there's like a Pokemon uh, s- monster taming thing. It's like Nexamon, which literally, if you play Nexamon Extinction and you go in someone's house, you'll get kicked out of the house. So
I
the
don't,
fact,
yeah, but
but
it's a
I
Pokemon
don't
staple.
mind. It is a staple, but I think obviously with this one because they've done a giant overworld as well, they kind of had to take some things out. So I don't mind them taking that out because it wasn't necessary. Being able to enter someone's house, not necessary. The only thing
They're
I
not
did
saying
miss is
special.
that they didn't have interiors for shops. So
Yeah,
obviously, when you used to go into like the Pokemon Center and stuff, which to be fair, there isn't really a Pokemon Center or a marketplace. It's just a giant one stall for some reason.
Well, all the
yeah,
shops as well were just either sandwich shops or generic stores.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes, that there were.
I would have liked some like special buildings at the very least because like remember you had like the JoJo,
Dojo.
dojos, the clubhouses. You had certain things. I mean, they just made the cities feel so pointless because like if you weren't bothered about buying all the customization, it was pretty much no point exploring cities.
It wasn't
A
until I
quick
finished
run
the
through to
game.
try to see if there's any TMs on the floor, and then that was it.
It wasn't until I finished the game that Nat told me that if you walked into a sandwich shop, they gave you recipes.
Yeah, I told you that actually.
Was that you?
Yeah, nah, I think we probably both told you that at one point. But yeah, I didn't even know that myself. I think it's like my brother's told me that one because he's looked that up. Because he likes looking up stuff, so he's looked that up and he's oh yeah, because thingy you can buy these you can get these recipes. Just
Yeah,
like
can
what?
he beat a gym leader? I believe.
And so I think
Oh,
I looked up and you can get some from your mum as well. It's like what?
I've seen that before. You get two from your mum after a certain point in the game.
But no character
But
tells
yeah,
you that
the
that's the thing.
talk about the cities. I guess also if we should go to the Pokemon school about what we think about that because that was a massive waste of time. I thought you'd get some real benefit from doing that. All those classes took forever, were boring, and your reward was a couple of uh, was it the leveling up candies, which you
One
can get
reward was
from
fine.
a lot more from doing a couple of raid battles.
Yeah.
It was so annoying
No,
the
two of
Pokemon
the
School.
rewards were fine.
Well, that was your side quest, weren't you? So you were on
Worst
about
side quest
side
ever.
quests. Yeah.
Worst
Well,
bloody side quest ever.
well, to be fair, I've had worse side quests, but you know.
Well, at least the biology one taught you how eggs work, and then there was the guy who taught you French, how to understand Pokemon. I didn't like that guy.
Mm,
The Spanish guy teaches you French.
yeah, I never did any. I did a few, but I've never really done the classes. I
It
think I
gives
did
you
like
Galarian
cooking class.
Meowth, so that's something.
So
Yeah, you get a Meowth, which it doesn't even go in the Pokedex.
Yeah, but you get Berserker, and he's pretty good.
yeah, I don't mind
Yeah.
Berserker, but no. Yeah, I thought obviously the limitations as well of the consoles probably hindered it.
Yeah,
But
but the problem with the school
to be
mechanic is the whole game was based around it, which is why you can't change uniform, and they didn't even bother making the school mechanic interesting.
Also,
yeah,
one massive thing that I personally liked was, I would have liked, is you've got your room in the school, and there's only one change that makes you get like a photo. I think you get a photo or something for beating the gym, the league. But I would have thought it should have had like extra things appear when you've completed like the different storylines
But you've
and
got no
whatnot.
incentive to go back to your room ever.
yeah, you don't. I've never been unless the games made me. So
Yeah, but you didn't in both games, but you still sometimes had these add-ons, like a little sign to show you that you've accomplished things. Because unlike other Pokemon games, your profile card doesn't get like big stamps on it or badges or things to make it obvious that you've completed things. So if they weren't going to do it on that, they should have probably done it in the your character's room or something. But
Yeah, well, obviously, at the end of each gym or challenge related thing, you get that snapshot, don't you, as well, with
which
the gym
you can't even
leaders.
view again, can you?
Hmm?
You can't even view it again, though, can you?
I'm not actually too sure, to be fair.
I'm not sure
I've
either. I
not
didn't
actually
check.
looked. You never know, they might be stored somewhere. But use them during the credit sequences.
Yeah.
Okay, the
Who knows?
next topic though is gonna take a bit.
Uh.
That is the story and each of the paths.
Start off
What's the
the
easiest
main one,
path
I
to do?
guess.
Team Star's the easiest.
Hmm? Oh, we're gonna start for Team Stars
Yeah, it's
path
the probably the
first.
easiest one.
Mostly pointless. The whole star gym things were boring
The
as all
rewards were
hell.
pointless, but the story was alright.
The story was alright, but the whole way they
Yeah.
did it with the roaming battles was just rubbish
It
and
fits with the
boring.
theme of finding treasure. So I'm fine with that.
Mm. I mean, I got to see more Penny and more of her character, and I liked Penny's character, so that's something.
What do you mean, like how it was
Um,
blatantly obvious who Cassiopeia was?
oh yeah,
Because only
Totally.
like 5 characters in the
Absolutely.
entire game have unique designs.
and the fact that you had to keep playing along with the school's president, that he's
Principal.
actually alive.
Headmaster.
Yeah, there's like 5 characters with unique designs, and they have to use them. But saying that, they
Yeah.
didn't use that in Arceus, so I wasn't too sure.
Mm.
But
See, that
no,
was an easy one to discuss. The
so yeah.
Titans, well, that's just easy to discuss.
Well, Titan Path.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it
Basically,
was all.
Arven went to Area Zero with his level 60, lost something that he never states what he lost to, then leaves somehow, even though you have to fly out.
Yeah, the apparently the thing that he lost to hasn't appeared in this game. It's probably a DLC mon because we didn't. I think it blatantly says it. They didn't come across it again. So I'm guessing that's going to be some new, either prehistoric or futuristic, depending on which
What
game
was,
version you're playing in
what,
DLC.
what was that?
Hmm?
Who didn't come across what Pokemon?
I think
The
that
one
hurt
that
Arven's
actually
dog.
critically injured the
It did.
guy's
It did.
dog.
Oh no, it did say it was in the future when it was in obviously it's, Violet. It was Delibird.
Well, it's dead, but it did it to
Delibird
him.
would do
Yeah.
nothing to a level 60 dark type.
Yeah, I believe in the thing. It was Delibird that was the one that
Hmm.
was
I thought it was the
because I
class.
think it was during the second hut that you see a Pokemon, and he does say that that's the Pokemon that
Oh,
scene
maybe
when
I'm
it
wrong then.
dinged. So pretty sure it was.
I mean, it was all right storyline, Titan Path. I felt some of the Titans were a bit of a waste. I mean, I like the fact that one of the Titans was one of the, uh, either the Savage or the or futuristic version. But most of the Titans felt a bit wasted potential. I like the fact that you got given these powers to be able to traverse more. It felt more rewarding. The Team Star one didn't feel rewarding. It's like, oh, you've got some more points and you can make TMs, which you're probably never going to do because you find them everywhere. While this one actually gave you a fundamentally decent reward for each step of the thing. So I definitely think the Time Path was a lot better than the Team Star path.
Yeah, Team Star Path literally just offered you TMs unlocks, I
It was
believe,
just for
and
story, really, that one.
yeah, it was mainly for the story, which wasn't too bad. And obviously, compared to the gym tests, it was actually they were actually a lot more fun to do than so I think they could have just taken gym tests out and just had us with the Team Star.
Yeah, like how, what was it? Well, I can't even say the 7th gym. The ghost ladies was just a double battle out of nowhere. The only double battle in the entire game.
Yeah,
Why?
it wasn't too bad. to be fair, the gyms and the league story. The fact that you get main rival last coming up to you every now and again and just going, so, oh, come on, let's battle.
I forgot that the league lady was the final league lady. I assumed it was just Nimona.
Yeah.
I forgot she even exists.
Yeah. Rita was a bit forgettable,
And
but
her team was terrible.
what did she even have again?
She sent Glamora out last with the ability to apply toxic spikes, which should have been going first.
Yeah. Not the greatest setup for battle, but yeah, I don't think I forgot about her. And I'm not sure if I was thinking Nimona was going to be the one, but I think by the time I got to the league, it was just like, oh yeah, I'm not going to be fighting her.
I just got bitter at the
for
league test,
final
so I
one.
decided to just hammer them into the ground.
But yeah, the league was definitely the most easiest one to do, along with the Titan path. And to be fair, none of them were particularly challenging, but especially because of the open world and because you could train quite a bit.
Because it basically made you over level, yeah.
Yeah, and one thing that I was always constantly doing is going, because obviously when you're trying to complete the Pokédex, you constantly the Pokemon, so
Yeah.
you might be fighting ones quite a few times.
And you get
Just so
loads
you
of
can
XP
catch
for
them.
catching stuff instead of battling stuff too.
So yeah,
And what is it? The roam mechanic. It doesn't give enough XP. It's like 12 per battle.
I think it gives, depending on what you're fighting, it gives like a percentage of what you would do if you fought it normally to everything. So, but that's also because it just bases it off strength on it. It's
Yeah.
not typing that it bases it off. I think there is a bit of typing involved in it, but not, because obviously if you're fighting something that you're weak against, it's more likely not to do much.
So the rest of the, I guess, main story, most of the main path is just generic Pokemon thing with Nimble appearing every now and then, being cute and running off, and then you've got the final story where after you complete all of the three, which was all right. I'm a little bit. I mean, might as well say it because we're at this point. I'm a little disappointed that
Don't worry,
the
I didn't like the ending either.
professor is dead, and it's
Yep.
just like I would have preferred if it was like a thing of you actually go into the past or into the future to try to save them. That would have been a far better thing than
Yeah,
so they're already long dead, and that's it's a bit.
yeah, I
soon as
think they
Future
would
Boy,
have done
go on,
that,
mate.
but obviously they didn't want a reason why people can just go into and out of the future for no reason.
Well, Future
No,
Boy
'cause
even says that once
the
you go to the
the
past, you
plug
can't go
behind
back.
you.
Yeah, once they do say that if you
Which is why I
go into the
thought he
thing, you
just got
can't
lost
get
in the
back.
future.
Yeah, it's a one-way street.
But that I would have that's because of that. I assumed that it'd be they're trapped in the past or the future, and maybe in the DLC we might be able to save them. But no, they were killed by the other version of our guy who you can catch at
No,
the
no, I don't
end.
think there was.
No, it
He was
does say
attacked
in
anyway
at
by
least in
someone
my
else.
version it said that was it Groudon? He started
Groudon.
attacking your version of him, and she got in between him and got killed.
And then her body disappeared and was never mentioned again.
Yep.
Yeah. I was a bit sad because like there was a really nice design for the
Right.
professor, and then
I'm
just
going
like,
to get
oh
this off
yeah,
my chest right
she
now
just appeared
because
for a
it's
few
not to do with
minutes, and
this.
that's it.
Area Zero was dumb. You had to. The area was too big, and you didn't have
It
your
felt
mount,
rushed.
and it took forever to get
It
down to
felt
Yeah,
base.
rushed.
it rushed. Sparse is what it was. It was very sparse. I'll agree with Brad on this one. I do as well a bit. I don't know if it was rushed, but it definitely had a lack
It
of
was made to be
content.
explored with your mount, but didn't give you it. So there were areas you couldn't go to, and it's just saying, "Oh, well, you just got to come back later, don't you?"
Oh, I remember that.
But
Oh yeah.
but no, it's a bit. Yeah, the fact that as well, when you first get down there, you can't use Coridon
Yeah, it's an absolute pain.
or Maridon. Yeah, so you're just there, you have to walk everywhere, and like you said, it is too big. So you've got to go all the way down to the bottom in this giant bit of land. Yeah, it's probably equivalent to like one of the areas of the other ones. So like north, south, and east.
Yeah, it's absolutely huge.
Yeah, but
There should be. There's like a couple of like caves, like little tiny caves you thought would have some loot in them or something. There's nothing in them. They're empty. I was like, what's the point of this?
that could have been for the two future Pokemon
Yeah.
of Salamence
There's a
and
certain cave that you can
Gallade.
only
Not.
find Iron Valiant in.
There's
Yeah.
some little ones at the bottom which look like they'll pose to serve a purpose, but they actually don't. The
There are probably some that they're just there for being there, and some that.
like I said, probably were going to do something and then ran out of time.
But you never know because of how it is. They could still utilize it maybe later on. They could add stuff for the
Probably will.
DLC.
I think the DLC would be in that whole blocked off area.
Yeah, but the
Yeah,
problem
well,
with the
yeah.
DLC is
Everyone already knows that's where the DLC is going to
the
be.
problem
So.
with the DLC is we're basically max level right now. So anything we face in the DLC, we'll have to make a new party for. Or we're just going to hammer it.
Yeah, that's a big problem. Yeah, my starter's at level 99, and my other guy's like level 80 something.
Well, with the DLC anyway, I find that if you are going to do the DLC, I think that's a good time to kind of switch up your party anyway, just to try something different, so you're not just using
If
the
it's the
same
right
thing.
price, I'll get it.
But yeah.
So the next conversation topic is the characters. I actually really like the characters in this game.
Yeah, we've touched
like
on it a
some.
bit last time, a bit already, haven't we? With a few of the characters, we mentioned Penny already and Greta
I didn't
and
like it.
Nimona and the
Oh,
professors.
the
But
yeah,
what do we think about the gym leaders?
uh, th- they vary. Like for example, if I quickly run through what I think, the bug lady, is it Cat
Okay.
Katie is cute. You've got Brass, the grass artist guy with the whip, who just looks like he's trying to be part of an SMM dungeon. I don't understand him very well. Don't like him. You have the typical YouTuber character, which made
It
me
was at
really
least
think that
interesting and
those
fun, though.
Magmamites were
know,
actually a special evolution that we could get, but we don't. I was kind of disappointed by that.
yeah, I'm really curious if they were actually Pokemon or not, because it looks like they are, but it also looks like they're not, because obviously the magnets are too small.
I didn't want to post. Yeah, I don't know. I thought there was supposed to be some weird form of them, but you got the water guy who was just pointless, boring. The normal guy, Larry, was entertaining. I liked him. The rapper was a terrible rapper, so I didn't like her. Tulip was high. Psychic was I don't even remember her
I do.
at
She's like one of the
all.
only characters with an actual job.
The ice lady, I
Oh,
actually
Laura's
thought was
The
quite cool.
got a
no,
job.
the ice is a guy.
Hmm?
The
Dave just said
snow,
ice lady. There is no ice lady.
the snowboarder.
Yes, he's a dude.
Why does it say it's a dude?
But
He does
yeah,
all the time.
It
he's
doesn't
now
actually
a gym
say whether
leader.
it's a guy or a girl. To be fair, I just assumed
Nah,
it
I'm
was a
looking at
girl.
I'm on the Pokemon website. He's definitely a dude.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
Grusha,
he's cool.
Grusha.
Yes.
Oh, I assumed it was supposed to be a tomboy.
It's not. Well,
And
you can't really tell with a lot of characters, but it is actually a dude. Yeah.
yeah, that's the gyms. Like I say, I'm not overly. Like I say, there's a couple standouts. But not even, but then, even then, I find that other than Larry, I think I'm going to forget all these gym leaders.
All the Team Star people had better personalities.
Yeah, and more memorable designs. Uh, the league characters, well, Elite Four, Poppy, I just found it very weird. Like,
I
why
forgot
is
she
there a little
existed.
child as one of the Elite Four?
Teacher Boy's
the
next.
art, art teacher who has a lot of drama, but not very
It
bothered
didn't
about it.
actually
And then
teach art,
Greta,
yes.
and then there's Greta, who's not memorable at all.
The one you mean the Elite Four fight, which Brad forgot?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're really forgettable.
like I said, I really like the rival people. Like Nimona is actually a really nice rival. Very fair. Like it's actually someone if I came across someone in real life, I would get on with them really
When was the
well.
previous good rival then?
Penny's cute. Arvin's a little bit annoying at first, but he's all right.
Yeah. Who would you say is the previous good rival? Because Hop was terrible.
Hmm?
Hop
It was
was a
terrible.
terrible rival. Like in the previous ones.
You got Green, or whatever her name is in the English thing. Leaf and whatever. Was all right. Bell, is it
Okay, so
Bell?
we've
Was that
got Silver.
I'm
He
not
was
sure.
alright. Brendan and May, technically, and Wally as well. They were fine.
Yeah, but
Barry
to be
was
fair,
fine.
yeah, Wally. I'd say Wally was more the rival in that one rather than either the two characters you could potentially choose.
Then there's
you
Barry.
had
He was fine.
you had the one from Black and White.
Sharon,
That's it.
Bianca, and N.
And yeah, N
Mm.
was good.
The
But yeah, I
character from
mean,
Black and White 2, I forgot he existed. X and
like I say,
Y
there's that.
had your main character, Shauna, Tierno, and Trevor.
I don't really remember most of them.
And then Sun
To
and
be fair,
Moon had How and Gladion.
I'll be frank. Most characters, for like, I forget about their existence outside of the people from the first three games,
Okay,
first three generations at least. So it's
Sword and
very few
Shield
that
had
I
Marnie.
remember.
She was really memorable.
Who?
Marnie.
It was Mana.
She's the girl who had Morpeko. She's got like the best design in Sword and Shield.
To be fair, I don't really remember anyone from Sword and Shield other than the two brothers with the stupid haircuts.
Yeah, so these are
Um,
probably the best rivals since, well, for ages.
Since forever.
so as I found, I did kind of sleepwalk through Sword and Shield, so
Yeah, his story was kind of really forgettable.
but yeah, I found like the professor designs quite interesting, but they didn't get used very much. The president was a bit annoying of the school. Most of the teachers aren't particularly memorable to me. Um, and then there's not many interesting characters outside that you don't have like many NPCs who you talk to very much in this one compared to some of the previous ones.
This game has no
I just found that
NPCs at all.
sometimes the random NPCs were very. There seems like they didn't have many body types, so it was just a bit weird sometimes. But other than
Yeah,
that,
there's a lot of generic stuff going on.
I think
I'm assuming because of limitations with the
most
with the
women were
game anyway.
most women were bodybuilders in this. I noticed other random NPCs, which was a bit funny.
All right. What did people think to the Hassel? Hassel?
The
I
art
don't think
teacher.
anyone's. No, that's the fourth, the dragon guy for the Elite Four.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
he's
No one's
art
actually
teacher.
mentioned him.
he's the art teacher.
Is he the art teacher?
Yeah,
Yeah, he is.
he
Oh,
doesn't
there's
teach
the other
art
guy.
though.
I was the other guy. I thought the other guy was the art teacher.
No,
Or
he's
am
the
I
art
Nah,
thinking
he's
of?
one
teacher.
of the teachers anyway.
No, I'm thinking of Jack.
Yeah, he's just a gym leader.
Jack's not a
Jack.
gym leader.
Oh no, Jack
He's
is
your homeroom
the
teacher,
Jack is the
and he does the
Pokédex
Pokedex
teacher
stuff.
guy.
Jacques is the guy who gives you the shiny charm.
Science. He's a science teacher.
Yeah, he gives you the shiny charm.
Yeah.
I think he
Yeah,
does
I found
biology.
Hassan. I just found a bit. There's a bit of the whole drama of him being a noble, not wanting to take the noble fame, but it was a bit rushed through his storyline, so I didn't really care that much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And the next
overall,
4 are really
characters
easy to do.
weren't bad, but they weren't great either.
Like I said, there would be 1 or 2 in this one actually that I will remember in future games, but most of them are not memorable. But at
I think
least
there's always going to be ones like that in any
but
game.
at least some of them are memorable because quite a lot of Pokemon games in recent years, I very quickly forget who they are and lose any kind of knowledge of them. So at least some of them in this I think
I
I'll
always
remember.
forget names of characters and anyone anyway. So that's
Oh,
probably
I'll
what I
forget
actually do.
I'll forget characters, but I'll remember like these people still, like to a certain degree.
But
Yeah, so then it's, well, we've discussed eggs already. I suppose that's, you can only get in the picnics, which were kind of meh.
yeah, picnics are all right. To be fair, I didn't mind picnics. It's fine. It's just essentially daycare on the go. And you got eggs pretty fast anyway.
You do, yeah.
So it's not like you were waiting around forever and a day just to get an egg so you can hatch your Pokemon.
They hatched
So
really fast too.
yeah, especially if you've got a Pokemon that knows one of the Flame Body and whatever else was usable. They were always useful.
I don't have much to say about eggs. I did 1 egg once and that was it.
Well, I've hatched so many eggs to try and get a shiny starter, and I've yet to get a shiny starter. So, but because a shiny charm doesn't work with eggs, and also eggs are preset from when you get them. So even if you're trying to get a shiny with an egg, once you've got that egg, it's already a set in stone, whatever it's going to be. So no turning it on and off to hope that you've hatched a shiny again. It's going to be the exact same one
Yeah,
that you've hatched
they
before.
changed that for this game.
Hmm?
They changed that for this one, I think, didn't they?
Yeah. What?
Something like that.
Not the fact that eggs are generated on hatching, or
Yeah.
well, yeah, because they're not based on when they're hatching. It's when you get the egg. The Pokemon's already preset once you've got the egg. So whatever that Pokemon is in the egg is always going to be what you hatch every single time.
Yeah, you can't save scum it.
No, no saves coming in. You just got to hatch eggs and hope it's the right one.
And then the
And
next
another
one,
thing that I will mention
Hmm?
about that as well is the fact that you can't mass release as well. So if you are doing lots of egg hatching, it can become very tedious to release all the Pokemon you don't want to get space in your box.
Yeah.
So it will become very tedious very soon.
You'd have thought if they wanted the sandwich mechanic to be really good as well, they'd actually do decent buffs. Like, the buffs of, like, your things get more XP or your things can hit harder don't really matter.
Yeah, so the only use for sandwiches are for encounter power,
And shiny
shiny
power, yeah.
power, pretty much the only an egg power as well. They're the only buffs that you'll ever really need.
I used sandwiches once and that was for that 1 egg that I did and that's it. I saw no point in doing them.
It was not the best mechanic. Oh, and then we'll get on to the fun one. Did anyone have any glitches? I didn't.
No, that's one thing
I
that
had
I didn't get.
I had frame rate drops.
You go around on internet and everyone has hundreds of glitches, and I've played it for what, 70 hours and not a single one.
Well, yeah, I played it for quite a lot of time as well, and I myself have not had a glitch. I mean, there's flaws in the mechanics of the game that I've done because obviously, like I said prior, I went back south as soon as I was able to get out of the academy, main academy place.
I think
I
closest
went back south to go catch Pokemon, But then with the lock on and throw a Pokeball glitch, you can get over into the west area pretty
To be fair,
easily.
I forgot that the lock-on Pokeball thing was a thing.
So, well, yeah, because I use that as well to get across bodies of water. So it's like if there's a big piece of water in the way, you can just lock onto a Pokemon that's a bit further, throw a Pokeball, it'll transfer you over to the other side of it, so that you can stack, and then you just run away from the battle.
I think my biggest
like
glitch
you're over
was
to the other side.
Yeah, I think my biggest glitch, I jumped on something like a crevice, which I couldn't have jumped on, and it got sort of stuck for a minute.
I mean, obviously, not really a glitch. Well, to be fair, we could say we've had a glitch, can't we, Brad? Because when we were doing the raid, I think we said it before when we were talking about raids, we had
Oh
a
God, that was
Pokemon
horrible.
which we got literally
wouldn't
down
die.
to 0, and then it just gained like a quarter of its health,
And then healed and
third of
KO'd
its
us with
health
it.
back for some reason. And it was just like, why? We killed it. Yeah, we literally one shot it nearly. And it just, and then after that, it just wouldn't die. So that's probably the only glitch we've had, if any.
I know it's not so much of a glitch, but the biggest problem I had was the camera is garbage.
Camera lock on isn't.
When you were trying to walk into a building, the camera clips into the building and you can't see anything.
So the camera wasn't my main issue. It was the Pokemon and everyone around you was the issue. Because obviously, if you were having a Pokemon battle, everything was still coming at you, which was highly irritating. So that's one thing that I'll say about the
Every time I
overworld
sent
as well. It's
Tinkerton
like the
out,
fact.
I couldn't see anything else over Tinkerton's hammer because the camera didn't zoom out enough.
Yeah. Large Pokemon are a bit of an issue as well. You can't really see anything. You don't even really need to see anything. I think that's the only thing I miss about the old style Pokemon games is the fact that if you are fighting a Pokemon, you know for a fact you're not going to be immediately in another battle because someone's just stood in the middle of you.
Yep.
Yeah, that was sometimes quite annoying. It was like one a cave where when the legendaries are in this, a bajillion Noibats spawning, and every time you try to get away from one or beat one, you instantly start a fight. You just couldn't get away. I remember spending 20 minutes trying to get out of that cave because it just kept non-stop spawning enemies on top of me, and it was absolutely infuriating. But I think, like I say about the glitches, most people generally exaggerate these things these days. But at the same time, I did get 2 major issues throughout my time playing, which was one, sometimes I enter battles, the camera would get stuck in the floor.
Yep.
And 2, the frame rate would tank to oblivion sometimes, and it was sometimes it was unplayable. That's how bad the frame
It's
rate
already
got.
got draw distance issues, which still haven't been fixed
yeah.
after 4 months or so.
Things still sometimes leave pop in right in front of you, but to be fair, it was still mostly playable. Like people. It's funny how these days now people go on the absolute berserkness when there's some bugs. When you think about Elder Scrolls or Fallout, and sometimes they were far more buggy in
No,
every
Bethesda
way, and
games
they get
glitches are
free
part of their charm.
passes. But now games don't.
No, I don't think it was the fact that it was just those games. I think certain games, it depends on the bugs, really. I think Pokemon wasn't able to get that pass. I think it's just a fact that Pokemon is so popular that it ended up essentially getting a pass. Because obviously,
Skyrim was very popular
Pokemon
as well.
games are never really never glitchy. Really, there's never really many glitches, exploits that people generally are able to utilize. But
Also, this Arceus Legends was a buggy mess at the same time as well.
but I think it's obviously due to the fact of how Game Freak are now doing Pokemon games, because obviously they're doing open world games. They're much bigger. They've left the sprites as well behind. So there's a lot more things that can go wrong with a game, which they're now tasked with having to kind of figure out and deal with. And obviously they need to learn. And I think
It's just the
that's what
exact same bugs they had in
this game
Arceus
is.
Legends. They should have, it's exact same issues it has with Arceus Legends, and you would have thought they might be able to figure out the issues around that to, okay, this caused this issue because of that open world thing. If we tweak this, tweak that, but no, it's exactly the same issues. I know it's a different team, but they still work together to a certain extent. But I'm not overly going to be critical of it being buggy. I expect it to be buggy, and it's not unplayable. It's completely playable, and I still
Yeah,
have
it's
my enjoyment.
completely playable, but most games will have a bug or two in it. I think it's just that it was just unexpected from Pokemon,
It would have been nice if they
which
fixed the draw
was
distance issues.
what's got people a bit like, oh my god, Pokemon's glitchy. What's going on here? It's like that's the main thing. It's like no one was expecting it to be as buggy as it was.
People are quick to have panic attacks and throw the baby out of the bathwater these days as well.
But no, but I think people were still just having a bit of a laugh as well when it did happen, because obviously, like you said, nothing was that bad that you couldn't play it. So obviously, trainers going in on themselves or Pokemon disappearing and stuff like that. There was a few things, but nothing was that bad. Yeah.
Any other random issues you can think of at time?
Collisions with ride Pokemon. I can think of that one as well.
Oh god, yeah.
That was another issue that was seen, especially in the overworld with all the Pokemon around.
It's
When you're trying to go through anything, you literally just go. You literally just collided with the Pokemon that was nowhere near, and you just end up having to fight. And
its collision
especially when you're
detection was
fighting smaller ones as well, smaller Pokemon, which you're like, okay, I've cleared that, and then you've just magically bumped into it as well. It's like, but I'm nowhere near that thing while I ever collided. Because obviously, the collision with your ride Pokemon is much wider than you'd think for some reason. I think it probably takes into consideration the wingspan when it's gliding, which is probably why it's a bit wider. But I don't. Who knows?
I don't know if you know, but when you're flying, you can break the game because you can, while in the air, turn, spin, and take your ride off, and then ride again. And if you do it so many times, you keep constantly getting faster when you're flying, and it breaks the game.
Yeah, my brother's literally shown me that flying glitch that you can do today on YouTube. It's like, but again, it's like, it's not really flying.
No.
That's the thing that I think that I wish that they did have in, and hopefully they do bring it out when they've done the DLC. Because I'm hoping that's the main reason why they've not give us flying, because obviously the DLC area is not opened up yet.
I mean,
So
I'm a
when you
little
get a DLC, you can get flying, because right at the start of the game, you do see your Koraidon and Miraidon flying. And that's what they are
gliding.
doing.
I mean, the gliding, but I mean, one thing
No,
that
no,
does.
they are legitimately flying. If you
Yeah.
look about it, they are going through the skies, they're doing turns, they're going up and down. It's like
Yeah. I mean, one thing.
descending and ascending. It's like they are flying. So, but for some reason, and Koraidon can float. We see that, and we see that right at the start. That he's floating in the air.
What were they got defeated by
thing I'm a
When
little
you
bit
see its
not.
battle form, but
One thing that I'm a little bit sad at is they have a timer limit on your gliding. So if you're gliding for too long, it cuts out and you just fall to the earth, which
yeah,
is really
that's
annoying.
that is a bit annoying. I never experienced that until some point. It was just like, oh yeah, if you continue gliding, you're gonna fall. And it's like, nah, I won't. And it's like, next time I've tried gliding, I've just not pressed, because I think I let go of gliding because it's just like I only want to go short distances anyway. And I've left it on at one point, and it's like, yeah, straight away. It's just like it's clonked out, and I've fell. And it's just like, what?
Yeah, it's been annoying. Also, this game actually can be quite punishing if you get KO'd.
I never got
Was it this one,
KO'd.
or was it
No,
Arceus Legends?
no,
Or was it? Is it
no.
Arceus Legends?
This game
Yeah.
isn't that. This game is not hard at
No,
all.
no, no. I'm getting
Not
myself
by any
mixed up.
slight.
I get myself
Um,
mixed up with the other game.
yeah, I've not played a lot of Arceus myself, but yeah, this game is very, very easy. Very much Pokemon style easy game. As long as you've got high level Pokemon, this game is not in any way going to be hard at all.
No, I didn't lose one. I
Very
didn't lose
much.
once. I never lost a single time. I came
But
close once when I was trying to capture a guy who didn't want to get caught, but that's about it.
I think in my second playthrough that I was doing of it, I think I had an issue with the water gym. But that was obviously, I think water gym's like, what one was that one? Fourth gym or something. Um, it's like level 30 Pokemon. So that's literally the fourth gym, and it's like I think my Pokemon will be under level, and the typing was a bit mismatched as well. But yeah, difficulty wise, this game is not difficult at all.
No, it definitely felt like he was holding your hand most of the way.
But I think that's most Pokemon games nowadays. With the
Well, for
Yes.
fact
free
that
roam, I
all
think it'd be fine.
Pokemon, yeah, with the fact that all Pokemon gain experience whenever the battle's happening, you don't even need an item for that anymore. You used to have like XP
T-shirt.
share,
Yeah.
XP all, and now it's just bog standard. It's like yeah, Pokemon just get all of them gain experience when you're fighting in a party. Obviously the main one will still gain the most, but like I said, it's just quality of life is what they've added to it. It's like, yeah, you don't need to go out and find this XP, all anymore. You can just have it from the get go. It's like why they've removed HMs. It's because they were more of a hindrance than anything else
They
to the
really were.
game.
Well, like to the T, I don't like the fact that the TMs are now not permanent. I like the fact of you permanently unlocked a TM, and you didn't have so you could collect them all. I don't like the fact there's like these are they're now consumables again. I preferred when they were
So yeah, so the main reason why they've made them consumables is so then that you have to go and collect resources.
to go and rip
Yeah,
parts off the
so
Pokemon to
it's like
combine multiple style.
generic open world mechanics, isn't it? It's like you've gone open world. What do you need it? Well, you need someone to collect resources, and then they can do crafting because crafting is a main part of open world games nowadays. Uh, so that's why they've done it. It's just like, what can we make them craft? Oh, we can make them craft TMs.
I know, but
Yeah.
the game's
Well,
too easy for you to ever
the
bother
only
doing that.
issue the only issue with doing that is that the recipes for all the TMs are not available from the get go. So you can't learn every single move. You need either a Pokemon to know the move already, find a copy of the move, or do your team stars, which unlock some of them. So it's tricky in getting the TMs, whereas obviously previous games you could at least just go and buy a copy of the TM from a shop, and knew where to go to get it. So
Yeah, that's the problem. There's just no point crafting the TMs really.
yeah, I don't think I've ever used the crafting for the TMs at all. Don't think I've ever
Did it
used it.
once because I noticed I had every single TM in my inventory except for once. I crafted it, so I had a complete set. That was it. Just me being a completionist.
What
That was
about you,
all.
Brad? Did you like the TMs?
I think he's fallen asleep.
I must have done. Uh,
We're bored in that much.
but no, but no. So TMs weren't too bad, but one of the other ones, issues was an issue. Repel. Repel is one thing that I wish that they added to this.
Yes.
To go back to one of my earlier points, which was the fact that you kept getting interrupted by Pokemon constantly.
Yeah.
Pokemon will keep coming up to you. Pokemon will keep fighting you. Now that's not a bad thing. That's obviously part of the game. That's fine. But I wish they did bring back that kind the item that we've not seen for a while. I don't think because I don't think they had it in Sword.
No, they didn't have
Shield.
repels in Sword either.
Yeah. But I wish they brought it back because I think having that it was a good way to kind of keep the Pokemon that will keep charging at you from at bay. And I also think that with Pokemon battles, they should have had it so that nothing could get close to you as well. So that basically, as soon as you end the battle, you can't end up in another battle. So
I only ever crafted 2 HMs in the entire game, TMs, and that was just Brick Break because Pomo's fighting moves suck.
yeah. But no, speaking of the TMs again, I liked the fact of how you gain egg moves, though. There is a very simple way of gaining egg moves, which you just need the mirror herb for. So if you make a Pokemon forget a move, because obviously that was a new feature in this game where you can make Pokemon forget and remember moves.
Yes.
So if you made them forget a move and then had a Pokemon with the move you wanted it to learn, you just needed to give it this mirror herb, open up a picnic, and then exit the picnic, and that was it. You're done. You know, you've got the egg move added to your Pokemon now. So it's like the Pokemon that you want to learn Belly Drum. You know, is now just takes 2 seconds. All you need is a Pokemon that's got the same move as it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have to say I greatly appreciated the fact that now you can just forget and remember moves at a whim. That is
But
such a godsend. It really is. I always
that is
found
also
it so tedious all the previous games where you had to go and find the move shooter, then you had to do this and you had to do that. This was so much better. I
yeah,
really
like I
appreciate it.
said, it's come back to that thing where they've made a lot of quality of life things in Pokemon as of recent games. So it's like the fact that also in Sword and Shield as well, you could edit names immediately. You can just delete moves, obviously the newest ones, and remember moves. So moves that you previously or it could learn, especially if you catch a higher level Pokemon and you want it to know a move that it learns, like at level 20. You can make it remember that move at level 20 that you want it to have because it's not got it anymore.
Not
Just
always. That's not always the case. Sometimes I caught because
if you catch evolutions don't obviously have all the previous
no,
ones. But obviously, if you
no,
catch the first forms, anything that you can remember up to that point, I believe it can still
no.
has all the moves that
What
you
I'm trying
can
to say What I'm
make it
trying to
remember.
say is, I know for a fact that's not true because some of the guys have to be evolved through using moves. I went and caught those guys, and I knocked up the move, and it says, "Oh, they learn it at level 25 or whatever." And this guy I caught was level 40, and I tried to remember, and it wasn't there in the list, so I
What
had to
what
go and
was what was
catch
that
another one
Pokemon
to
that
try
you
and get
caught
to it.
there?
Hmm?
What was that Pokemon there?
I believe it might have been I forgot which one it was now, but it was kind of annoying. I remember having to go back and catch another one. It might have been an error, like a random glitch or something,
Yeah, it could have been an error because
but
as
it
far as
was
I know,
kind of annoying.
yeah, as far as I know, from what I've seen, that Pokemon do. Like I said, obviously, depending on which evolution you catch, depends on what moves. So obviously, if you catch a Marill, it's not going to learn any of the moves that it can only learn as a Zoomerl. Same with Azurill, sorry. Same with Azumarill. Any moves that it can only learn as a Marill or Azurill, it won't be able to remember. It only remembers the moves of its evolution when it's caught. Obviously, if you've had it since it's a Azumarill, it remembers all the moves, but that's generally as far as I've seen. That's how it works.
Right, so for the final bits, what out of 10 and how did you enjoy this game?
He was definitely one of my definitely about 8, 9. I'd say an 8. Probably
I
an 8.
can't put it any lower than 7 because I put Arceus at 7.
Yeah.
And Arceus was miserable.
I'll give it an 8.5.
Yeah, I could go for around a good 8, 9. Because there were a lot of things that annoyed me about it as well.
I think with the combination of a few things, it's like the barren worlds and cities, the overworld not being quite right. It's not a perfect game,
If it didn't have the
but
glitches that it had, I think its reception would be a lot better.
I think, like I said, if you refine some of the quality of life aspects of the kind of open worldness, kind of shrunk some of it down a bit. Like, to be fair, honestly, the overworld just seems like a giant island rather than a place where cities and stuff would be. Because obviously they've done the open world, and it's so yeah. I find that an 8 is probably what I'd give it if I were rating it out of 10.
There's a lot I enjoyed about this game.
Oh, there's tons. I like the new shake up to the original formula. It is good. That is a nice fresh take. You've still got that classic Pokemon esque vibe to it, but I feel like they could have done some. There were some things that could have been better. The graphics for some of Pokemon and the textures, as well. I don't think we touched about any of those during this. They were some of the things that I would have that do need improvement. Like, I think one of the things I keep saying is that if with a Pokemon, they could have had it like where you've got that black outline, just depending on where you're viewing it from, which would have helped some of the Pokemon, I think, visually. Especially considering we're used to seeing like Pokemon with like the black outlines, like cartoony style, where obviously they're kind of morphing it more towards a bit of realism.
I think the character models themselves are better.
But
The Pokemon character models are a lot better than the previous one.
yeah, obviously with each generation they're going to improve character models and stuff. But
Yeah, but it's like that was the main problem that they said in Sword and Shield, that they didn't have. They had to remake all of them from scratch and stuff, and people were like, "Well, that's sort of fine. Why the graphics are garbage?" But the character models haven't. They've changed some of them, but not enough that to warrant it. You know what I mean?
Well, obviously because it's new Pokemon as well. They've made new Pokemon sprites which don't models that don't look good. But I liked all the looks of some of them in the sprite forms. Like what is it? The new Spin-up Pod?
Spidops.
Spidops, yeah, that's the one. That one, it's like I don't like the looks of it when it's 3D mesh model, but when I look at its like 2D, anime cartoon version, that looks fine. I like the looks of it. It looks all right.
Yeah, so yeah, there's a lot of stuff I didn't like, a lot of stuff I did like. So about a good 8 or 8.5 for me. So
It's probably the game I probably enjoyed this one most for a Pokemon game since Pearl, because I think I burnt myself out when Black and White came out, and ever since then I've not been able to really keep my interest with them. Sun
Yeah,
and Moon I didn't think was amazing. Sword and Shield was forgettable. Arceus Legends was and
no,
it
man.
basically felt like a tech demo for this game. And this one I felt was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I mean, there's a lot of flaws with it, but I definitely maybe it's because I found it quite easy to just get through stuff, so I enjoyed it. There was some tedious bits here and there, but not too bad.
Yeah, it's like you said. Obviously, it's obviously got aspects of Arceus, but we've got to remember that Arceus obviously is its own thing. It's not like one of the main Pokemon entries
I'm saying it
and
was
stuff.
just like a tech demo for this game.
Yeah, but
That's what it was, kind of really.
yeah, ideally. But so, where would you rate it in league with on a table of with the other Pokemon games?
But
So
I
it's
just
like
said
way better than
so it's
Arceus.
like would this so it's not well ignoring Arceus because obviously that's not a main gen Pokemon game.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
just
like
that
with the
this
other
newest
gen
one I
Pokemon
played.
games,
So.
like with the Fire Red, well, with Red, Blues, Yellow, and then Silver and Gold. Because obviously, like top peak for me was obviously third gen, so mine was like Sapphire and stuff. This would definitely rate higher than what was it, Diamond and Pearl? That was kind of a low point for me.
Was
So
it
that's
really?
definitely yeah. It's not my favorite gen. That one I found that there was a lack of certain typing as well in that one, but this one's definitely higher than that.
For me, it's around Diamond Pearl. As I said, this is the most Pokemon game that I've enjoyed the most since Pearl, because I just couldn't get into others. I know Black and White's supposed to be quite good. I think I was burnt out at the time playing it. So yeah, I'll
Yeah,
probably
black
play the
black
same
and
level as
white's more
Black and White
memorable to
maybe
me.
for me then. Black and White, Diamond Pearl. Obviously Ruby and Sapphire and Emerald are definitely above it, and Silver's my top number one, so that's definitely gonna help smash it.
Yeah, yeah. For me, like Sword and Shield, probably black and white ones, and Diamond and Pearl are probably close to the bottom for me.
Sun and
In
what's Sun
comparison, Sun and Moon, I actually quite enjoyed. I enjoyed that one. That was one I quite enjoyed. That's probably mid range, and that's probably along with this one. It's probably in the middle with a lot of the others. Obviously, my favorite generation, like I just said before, is the Sapphire, Ruby, and obviously I did enjoy Silver as well and Gold. So there were some of the better ones that I played.
Mine's more controversial than that. So,
Oh, go on, let's go.
well, I originally started with gold. It was kind of meh because I'm
Yeah,
going back because lots of people have the nostalgia for them. I don't.
yeah, no, I get that with the nostalgia.
I
It's
finished
not
Sapphire
always about that.
completely. Yeah, I fully finished that entire game.
Well, did you ever play Red and Blue?
No,
Oh well.
Did you play Fire Red or Leaf Green?
I played Leaf Green. It was all right.
Yeah, I mean that had newer Pokemon in it, so it's not really
And
clear
honestly,
comparison.
Red
So
and Blue were so glitchy. It's fine. I didn't play them games.
Eh,
I never actually had any glitches with mine,
I
but
mean, like
yeah,
just mechanically, it was
admittedly,
I get it.
horrible.
It's fine.
I had yellow.
That's the worst one.
I played all of them.
I mean,
So,
I have gone back to play them, and I just don't enjoy them.
but
Black and White 2 was my
yeah,
favorite. No, White 2 technically was my favorite one.
yeah, I enjoyed Black and White 2 more than I played the original one.
Sword and Shield was alright. Not great.
Sword and Shield's fine. It's not the greatest now.
What would my worst one be? Uh, I just prefer the sideline games more than the actual main ones.
Yeah, there's a lot of sideline ones, like you got your mystery dungeons, you
Oh, I
got
love
your
Mystery Dungeon.
but yeah. But so yeah, so we're all pretty consistent though,
Right, so
aren't
I've got a
we?
big
Saying
list
about
here
an
of
8.
Pokemon games, so I'm going to check these in a sec.
Yeah. But so
Uh,
yeah, like I
let's
say,
see.
we're all kind of in agreement that it's about an 8
Yeah.
in overall 40.
About an 8, yeah. Honestly, I'd say the first gen is like my worst one. I just don't like it.
See, well, my brother's literally playing through or played through um Silver again, and that game did baffle me slightly because half the Johto Pokemon are in Kanto for some reason.
Yeah.
You got the
But
Kanto in the after you beat the Elite Four, it gives you you can go back to Kanto region and fight their gym leaders in Elite Four.
yeah, that's a good aspect. But I'm on about the Pokemon here because obviously
That's why the
half the
Pokemon are
Pokemon are
entering
over that side.
Kanto
Yeah, but the Johto Pokemon, so either in Kanto.
because it's
Why can I not get a Houndour in Johto region? Why
because
do I
they
have to go
happen
to
to get on
Kanto?
the boat alongside you. I don't know.
But anyway, back to this game. I think we pretty much discussed everything about this game now, haven't we?
Yeah.
We went from a planned 1 hour podcast to an hour and a half. 2 hours and a half, sorry.
It's 2 hours, 19 minutes at the moment.
Yeah, well, I think we've discussed a lot
Right, so
then.
we'll just round it out there then.
Yeah,
We'll start.
seems.
I don't know what his next review would be, but yeah, it's all right for that one.
I guess
Yeah.
DLC maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe.
potentially.
So I'll close this one now.